on it, people. Head or gut on Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever created. And today, we're heading to the Coliseum to catch an LA Stallions game on the last Boy Scout. Let's go!
I didn't know they were called the LA Stallions.
Oh, yeah. He had a jacket on through the whole movie.
I mean, I know in the movie, but I didn't know in real life that there was a team, the LA Stallions.
This is the fake FL.
Oh, the fake FL.
The FFL. The FFL.
Oh.
The fake football league.
Future football of America?
Oh. And also, we got we got fake Hank Williams in this movie as well, too. We'll get to that. Welcome in, you guys, talking about 1991's The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Mel, I know for a fact you're into this movie because we used to watch this movie together.
We did.
Just like Die Hard.
Yes. And it's good to see you again. It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while. Thank you guys for coming. It's been almost a month since we did Need for Speed.
Was it? Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been about a month.
No, there had to be something in between.
No, this is the first time you've been in since Need for Speed. So.
Oh, wow. Feels like it was just yesterday.
I know. It's crazy, right? I appreciate you coming in, man, making the trip all the way back out yet again. Thank you.
Racking up the mileage.
For a movie that you love. I don't know if you still love it, though. This is the thing. Just because we were into stuff back in the day, it doesn't mean anything. And speaking of people I've known since back in the day, Nicole Freer is here. Hi, how are you?
Very good.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in. You know, I don't know if you realize this, but the last Bruce Willis movie we did was The Fifth Element.
Aha.
Way back, your first episode ever.
Yep.
And we haven't done it. We did 2 Bruce Willis movies in the first time. We did Hudson Hawk, Fifth Element, and not since.
Lilu Multipass.
That's right. So thank you for being here.
Sure.
Apparently our resident Bruce Willis expert. And we've also got the dirt farmer, Clint Bush, in the house.
What's up?
What's up, dude? You were on Hudson Hawk.
I was.
So you've also done a Bruce Willis movie.
I have.
And our third one here ever. So oh my gosh, it just dawned on me, Nicole. You also were here for our last Damon Wayans movie, Major Pain.
Yeah.
And so we've got a confluence of people here coming together for you, people that you're an expert on now at this point.
Surely am.
Yeah, so that means when we do Blank Man, you've got to come in for that one, right? It's another Damon Wayans classic. Well, welcome in, all you guys. We're here talking about Last Boy Scout, a movie that, we'll just get straight into the vitals, was directed by Tony Scott, the legend. Listen to this, guys. Man on Fire, Enemy of the State, True Romance, Crimson Tide, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Top Gun.
The
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Tony Scott, just legendary director and filmmaker, shot the crap out of some movies, and this one as well. And
So you're saying he didn't shoot the crap out of this one?
No, he did.
At least not the first 10, 15
Oh, no,
minutes.
I'm saying he did. Here's the thing. So Beverly Hills, the 4th one just came out, last month, right?
Yes.
Axel F.
Yes.
And great. I thought it was good. I was happy with it. Fine. But so many movies now just look like television shows.
Yeah.
Like the way they're shot and lit look like they're TV shows. And so freaking Beverly Hills Cop 2 did not look nearly, or Beverly Hills Cop 4 didn't look nearly as cinematic as the second one, directed by Tony Scott. And this is, at least Last Boy Scout looks like a freaking movie and not a television show, if that makes sense.
No, it does, absolutely.
Yeah.
You think they're using the same cameras now?
I just think it's less film use, more digital.
Right.
It's the way it's lit. It's all kinds of reasons why. I just hate the look of a lot of modern films today when you go back and look at the stuff anyway. But directed by Tony Scott, the man, the myth, the legend. Written by Shane Black, one of the best screenwriters ever. We've covered 2 of his movies already. He wrote Last Action Hero, the Arnie movie that we covered, and he wrote The Nice Guys, which we did on Good Movies Rule. And anybody who hasn't seen The Nice Guys, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling, go see that. It's hilarious. Co-written also by Greg Hicks. The movie stars Bruce Willis, Damon Wayans, Chelsea Field, who last appeared but we're going to come back early episodes, was Tila in Masters of the Universe.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, right? Plays Bruce Willis's wife in this movie, and Taylor Negron, who also was the Brazilian guy in Nothing to Lose, the billionaire, the buddy of Chevy Chase's that was like,
The rich guy.
The rich guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So lots of deep cuts here. The budget for this movie was $43 million. Ooh, big budget, especially for 1991.
Oh, yeah.
And box office was $115 million. So
Just over that line.
yeah, kind of probably not what they wanted it to do, but, decent. Movie currently sits, this is high for us, guys. It's the 12th highest movie on IMDb that we've ever covered at 7.0 on IMDb.
All right.
The only other two 7.0s we've done, Napoleon Dynamite and Constantine, which you were also on. So this is right at the level. Napoleon Dynamite, Constantine 2.
The same thing.
Of the same thing, basically.
Same scripts, really. Just interchange them.
Very, very similar movies. Here's how it qualifies for our show, because obviously it doesn't based on the IMDb score. It's got a Rotten Critic score of 46%.
Wow.
So
The critics are keeping us in business.
Thank you.
the critics have dubbed this a bad movie. We're going to see whether or not it rules, and we'll let you know by the end. The audience score for this is close, but over. It's 68% on the audience score. So like 2/3 of the audience has given this the thumbs up, essentially. And so that's where it sits right now. Now, for all of you guys, I know you've seen, and we've established The Last Boy Scout, but Nicole, is this the first time for you?
First time.
But somebody has seen this movie before.
Jim, my husband. We already owned it.
Nicole was hitting me up like, where can I find this movie to watch? And apparently she didn't even know that Jim owned.
Jim's like, oh, I got it. Sounds
Perfect. And had you seen this before?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. So
Long ago again.
Nicole, you're the first timer.
I am.
And but I haven't seen it in 20 plus years.
Okay.
So I watched it probably 3-4 times in the 90s as a teenage boy. Thought it was like one of the greatest things ever. And then, for reasons that are probably clear to understand. And then now, having now gone back to it for the first time since I'm an old man with kids and life experience, it's interesting to go back to, and we'll find out later if that's a good or a bad thing. But I'm excited to dive into this with everybody, and I'm excited to get Bruce Willis back on the show here, doing his grizzly, chiseled, 5 o'clock shadowed, alcoholic, slept in my clothes thing that he does.
It's a mix of Moonlighting and Die Hard, really.
Right, in so many of his movies. So
And every other character he's ever played.
in the history of his entire career. Right. Pretty much, yeah. So thank you guys for jumping in. If you'd like to reach out to the show, there's all kinds of ways you can do that. You can email us at thisshowIstrash@gmail.com, or you can call us at 262-757-8567. Leave us a voicemail. We'll hit you back on one of our mailbag episodes. Otherwise, if you'd like to join our community, the Discord is a thriving community of people that are listeners of the show, but also movie lovers, man. If you want to get in there with a bunch of other like-minded people, have some great conversations, be part of the watch parties where they watch the movies in advance of the episodes and all that, you can jump in the Discord, chat with everybody. It's a lot of the hosts from the show are on there as well, chatting with people. You can do that by joining our Patreon. I think that's at the $5 a month, and you can be part of the Discord and get access to all of our other podcasts that we only do exclusively on there. And so go into the show description. You'll see a link there for that. It's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. We just appreciate everybody that backs the show. You're the lifeblood, the ones keeping the show going. So we appreciate you guys. On top of all that, it's time to pay the bills. All right, guys. Are you ready for some football?
Yeah. No
The movie
kid.
started and I was like, what?
I don't understand the first 15 minutes. Why is it dark?
Friday
Raining.
night's a great
I know
night
it's
for
raining.
football.
I've watched football games where it was raining. It wasn't dark.
Yeah, it's all lit very cinematically, right? It's not lit to
No,
look
it's
like
not lit.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's
Like
lit,
a good time, like a big party? Is that what you mean?
it's lit for a movie. It's not lit as you would see football on television, where
Right.
it's even when it's raining, you can barely even see the raindrops. 'Cause
Right.
It's like just blasted out by light in the camera and all that stuff. Right.
Right.
No,
What
this
is
is shot more dramatically.
What do they call it? Mise en place?
The mise en scene.
Mise en scene?
The mise en scene.
Oh.
if
Some
Farrah
place
was
that's
here.
culinary.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's like a light chicken gravy.
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure
You put all the pieces ahead of time, get it all chopped up.
what it is, right? Yeah, so we get the basically the fake Hank Williams here. And funny, in the work print of the movie, when they were putting it around and shopping around people and putting it together, they just had spliced in Hank Williams and Are You Ready for Some Football? And then they ended up having to go hire fake Hank Williams to do a Friday night's a great night for football, which maybe also just shows how easy it is to write one of these stupid football jingles. Because after Hank Williams got fired, like Carrie Underwood just came in and did it like no problem. And she's got a banger for Sunday Night Football. And they've had other people come in the interim and do that stuff. And I love it. I'm a sucker for it.
The Thursday midday football song is great.
Thursday at 2:00, great time for football.
Throw the ball and catch it.
Yeah. Bow down, down, down. And here's the thing, though. Friday nights for freaking high school football.
Right.
It always has been.
He's not wrong. Friday night is a great night for football.
Yes.
He played, 3 night games total,
And they
lifetime in high school.
There were
It was
Friday night
great.
lights, and you could
Right.
see.
It was fantastic.
Oh, we didn't have lights. Not
We
until
didn't.
No.
they have them now.
Yes.
Yeah.
At Antioch, they
We
didn't have
played at
lights.
Stevenson.
Yeah.
So
We had-
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
We played
got
by
our asses handed
Flashlight?
to us.
we
under
played
the
by
light.
flashlight. Yeah. So we would all have flashlights and we'd run around the field.
Lies.
We'd tape them to the top of our helmets.
Perfect.
And then it was like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the freshman team played Friday nights because it sucked because it was like 5
It was
o'clock.
just right after school.
And then
Yeah.
Saturday morning it would be the JV and then varsity.
So as a mega fan of football, I thought this was a big whiff by people that maybe knew very little about it. In fact, as I get into it, I think whoever wrote the script didn't really understand the game at all. But besides that, Friday night is always like they've never played an NFL game on a Friday night because of the sanctity of high school football. That's the same reason they don't play NFL games on Saturdays, except rare occasions, because that's college football day. And so that's why you get when they wanted to add after Sunday, Monday night football was a thing for a long time. And when the NFL was like, we need another day, they had to go all the way back to Thursday, which isn't ideal for their schedule at all.
No way.
And their bodies.
But people go into work drunk on a Friday.
Right.
Could you imagine playing a Monday and then a Thursday and then you have to play the Sunday? So like you have a big break between two and
then
then
a
be like
really short
right on
break.
top of each other.
Everybody's pulling hammies.
I think they throw a bye week in there just
They would have to.
Not always, though. I mean, there's a lot of times where you're playing 4 days later on Thursday night, and in the NFL, which will do literally anything for money, the fact that they wouldn't even step on high school or college football shows how important that is. That those stay those days.
Yeah.
And so immediately I was like, this is bull crap. Friday night's a good night. Kiss my ass, fake NFL or fake FL.
that's why it rained.
That's right. Even the football gods were like, no.
40 days of rain. It was
No.
rain too. That was wet.
That was that. I love
Standing
all
water
dude,
through the
I
turf.
love those kind of games, though. The monsoon games. I love that. People,
Hit the ground and skid.
yes. Some people hate it. They're like, it makes the game sloppy and it's not good. Like, I don't care.
People get hurt.
It's fun,
Sure.
and they all sign up for it.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
there's that.
And this is, I think, what they're trying to do. They go from the song with the prepackaged, brightly lit everything, like the glamour of football, and they cut to the reality of football, right?
Smashing just.
The dark side.
Smashing, dark side.
Oh.
Right. That's why I think somebody had it out for football when they made this movie. And I don't know what they were trying to say about it, because literally the next moment you got Lynn Swann, a legit, first of all, Hall of Fame player, but then also a real NFL journalist on the sideline interviewing Shelley Marcombe, the owner of the LA Stallions. And one of the questions they asked him, are we witnessing the death of professional football? And I laughed out loud. I'm like, whoever wrote this had no idea what was happening. Football, it never been close to dying.
Right.
Only grew in popularity, but you could tell this is early 90s, so it was right around the time, I'm going to be a football nerd for a second, right around the time free agency came into the game.
Free agency's ruining it again.
Everybody thought that was what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? That the fact that people could switch teams now is going to destroy the game. These greedy athletes, and it was so woven into the script, and they couldn't have got it more wrong, because all it did is become the most popular sport it passed baseball as the national pastime. It's just like, no one watches more. I mean, the highest rated, not even close. It's football and everything else. And so I laughed every time they throw the stuff in the movie. I'm like, you idiots. There's no way at all. All right, now I'm off my soapbox.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. What are we talking about? What movie is this?
Boy Scouts.
Last Boy Scout. Okay, yeah. All right, perfect. Anyway, we got Billy Blanks. Playing a running back, and this dude's taking calls at halftime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Line three.
He's He's getting his little bump on, taking a phone call.
He's snorting PCP and taking phone calls at halftime.
Unbelievable.
Was this
That's
just
reasonable.
an inside look at the early 90s NFL, or was this...
Could be real. Were you there?
I wasn't there.
I mean,
And what's Lawrence Taylor say? Don't smoke crack.
Yes.
Anyway, Milo, we know later from the voice, it's Milo. There's some big money riding on this game. You better score. Do whatever it takes. Okay, he bumps another, PCP hit, which is like, I don't know.
That is the true lingo. That's how the real PCPers would say it. That's what they like to be called, PCPers.
Early in the you're right. You know what? That might as well have been NFL pre-workout, basically back in the day.
Allegedly,
that's just how they got ready for games. First play, they run out at halftime. First play, little halfback out and up, catches it. Nobody near him. Off the, Billy Blanks running down the field, takes out a cut, breaks some tackles. Great play. Mm-hmm. And it's the first play of the half. It's not a minute to go in the fourth quarter and the game was on the line. Dude, you had some more chances to score touchdowns. All right?
he's had it, James. Had it.
This dude, 20 yards downfield, linebacker closing in. This linebacker was playing super deep, by the way.
Yeah,
He was
he was
coming in
way
from
out.
like safety position. Pulls a handgun out of his waistband
Right.
and starts smoking tacklers.
Kills like 3 people.
I'm laughing because it's so ridiculous. He didn't dig into his pants. The handle was sticking out of his football pants.
But it was raining. Nobody could see.
No one could see.
He would have had his towel over
it
there.
was Los Angeles.
You don't
as
think
well.
one of the O linemen or something in the huddle is like, no, Billy, we're running the shotgun formation. It's a formation.
It's not street ball, buddy.
This is not literal shotgun, okay? Please.
Mistook the coach at halftime. We're going to shoot the gaps.
That's right. Oh my gosh. I couldn't. He freaking just. I'm like, dude, try some Tae Bo, all right, before you start shooting guys.
Just like lead with the cleats.
Something. Man, oh man, just went straight to smoking dudes with his gun, and he kneecaps one guy, shoots the other 2. So I'm pretty sure 2 out of the 3 are dead. But hey, he gets himself in the end zone, so 6 points.
Later in the
Right?
movie, guns are shooting, no one's getting hit. So maybe not in this world.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's probably at least a 15-yard penalty. I gotta imagine.
Replay the down.
I gotta imagine the score is not going to count.
Loss of down? I don't
Right.
know. Yeah.
Flag.
Oh, I don't know. It seems like I'm laughing at people getting shot on the field, but it's so ridiculous. It's funny to me. And he gets into the end zone, takes his helmet off, ain't life a bitch, and just shoots himself in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And television and all of that stuff.
And there's somebody in Vegas like,
Yeah.
I hit the long shot. Like legit.
No pun intended.
There is somebody on a props bet. Like,
Yeah.
will somebody
Like,
kill?
somebody's going to shoot themselves. Somebody's going to shoot 3 people and kill themselves in the
Cuts
end
to the
zone.
sportsbook guy way in the background.
No
hell yeah,
way.
Right, yeah.
So is he on the DL or no?
All right. Now we and can I just say the owner no sells his reaction to
Totally.
the guy shooting himself. He just goes, ugh, well, you hate to see that, I guess.
It's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. All right. Then here we're going to meet Joe Hallenbeck. As you mentioned earlier, the classic drunk Bruce Willis introduction in almost every movie, whether it's Die Hard 3 or all he wants is an aspirin because he's hungover and he's asleep, 5 o'clock shadowed in his car.
Yeah.
Called a razor.
Striking distance.
Razor. That's right. They did it in
I
striking
feel
distance.
attacked.
The question is,
Yeah.
did he ever act?
No. I think maybe we're just learning this was Bruce Willis. Yeah.
They had to rewrite all the parts. They're expecting happy, fun moonlighting Bruce
Dude.
Willis, and they got...
They rewrote a ton of this movie. So let's just get into this now so we can just spend the rest of the time on this
there drama?
ridiculous plot. There was some of the most insane, talking about people that love behind the scenes drama. Last Boy Scout was a train wreck behind the scenes. You have Tony Scott, one of the all-time directors that was not going to back down. And like total, the problem is you had 4 guys that were at the alpha male stage of their careers in the early 90s. Tony Scott could call his own shots. You had Shane Black, the most sought after screenwriter in the industry, who was calling his own shots. Super alpha male. This is what people have said, that it was just alpha male craziness on the set. Bruce Willis, off of Die Hard, who worked with Joel Silver, his producer from Die Hard, who also was producing this, who was apparently so awful on set and involved in every single tiny aspect of the production
sure was.
that Tony Scott, in his next movie, True Romance, made a coked out movie executive character and made sure he acted exactly like Silver did on Last Boy Scout. So if you ever watch True Romance, it's him making fun of Joel Silver on Last Boy Scout's set. Okay. And so Willis and Silver, who were like this, threw out half of Shane Black's script and kept rewriting it, changed the whole third act, which was supposed to take place on the water, and there was all these other plot elements that didn't even come into play. Shane was getting pissed because it's his script that, he had written originally as a Die Hard sequel, but they ended up using a different script for that and changed it to The Last Boy Scout, still with Bruce Willis in it. And Tony Scott couldn't get Bruce Willis to do what he wanted to do because they kept wanting to just rewrite every scene. And that's why, I think we made fun of this in Hudson Hawk, he keeps putting all these stupid Bruce one-liners in there because this is what he thinks the people want from him. And this is why he says things like reindeer goat cheese pizza, which was the same line he said in Hudson Hawk. Yeah. Right? And it's just like, you don't ruin a Shane Black script. Shane Black scripts are immaculate. Yes. Yeah. So when you say he probably wrote, that's what made me think about this, that he wrote it this way, is that, yes, Bruce Willis and Joel Silver rewrote a ton of this. And it's part of why, plotting-wise, a lot of it is nonsense. Yes. Should have just left well enough alone. But you had 4 dudes in the room that all clashed like crazy, and it was apparently a total nightmare to be on set and get through the filming of this whole thing. So there's your little slice. Now, sometimes out of that, goodness can still come out. And apparently, it was heavily re-edited by a guy that saved Tango and Cash. It had to be re-edited because he got an NC-17. And so this had an NC-17, and they had to bring in a guy to cut chop the crap out of it to get it to an R and save the movie. And so a lot of it was saved in the edit. And it was apparently gobbledygook mess that they handed over to the guy to fix the thing.
So the 47 minutes at the strip club was excessive?
That's what I was thinking.
I guess. Right. So anyway, now that we've got all that out of the way, we can just keep going with the plot of the movie. Yes, so he's passed out in his car, and these kids come up because it's boring out on them streets, man. What are you going to do?
They don't have screens.
Mess with some drunk guy in his car, right? They don't have an iPad to play games on. They found a dead squirrel real fast.
And it's really well preserved. Probably just had it on ice.
Immediately, go get that squirrel we found, we've been carrying around. Put that on him. He doesn't wake up. It's not until they go for his watch that he wakes up and puts a gun in this kid's face.
Reacts to.
And they run away. And this is our introduction to a guy whose life is falling apart, right? He literally talk about on the nose. He starts off the movie going, "You're going to lose. Nobody likes you," like to himself in the mirror. Okay. Like, all right, I get what kind of character this is. His whole life is a piece of crap and he hates himself. And that's why he allows all this stuff to happen to him.
From the mental health aspect and that kind of the world, that's not a good thing because that's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
And he goes into his office for a very short amount of time, which he slept there, but he gets a call from Mike, his buddy, who says, "Hey, I thought you were still in Vegas." That's an important clue for later, kids.
Yeah. Yes.
Get out.
I don't know what I'm doing. I might have got drunk and banged a squirrel last night or something. What the hell?
That'll happen.
He offers him a job, $500 to babysit a stripper. And, Joe needs the money. And so he's like, "All right, I'll meet you at your office in an hour," he says. And off he goes. Now we cut and we meet Jimmy Dix, played by Damon Wayans, who is apparently just cheated on his girlfriend and is sitting there smoking a cigarette next to a sleeping woman in a bed somewhere. And as he gets up and leaves, he realizes he's at an FFL party, right? With other fake football league players, strewn around. And we have an actor that, back for the first time since Winners Take All, Tony Longo, who played Bear in Winners Take All, is, how should we say, drowning a woman in the hot tub?
Yeah.
He was pulling a Hasselhoff.
Because she won't service him.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy's like, come on, man, she's gonna drown, and he's just like, I don't care. And there's the first time you watch it, you're focused on what's happening, but then the second time I watch it, there's all these other people,
Yeah, nobody's
just
doing nothing,
sitting around, dude lounging in his lounger in the pool,
I was
floating
super
along.
uncomfortable. Hated it so much.
I bet. And Jimmy picks up a ball and chucks it straight into
Breaks
Bear's
his nose.
face. Busts his nose. Girl gets out of there. He helps her out. He grabs him by the hair and goes, "Best arm in the National League. Don't forget that, you fat piece of crap." Right?
Yeah, because he's trying to tell him, like, you ain't even supposed to be here. This is you got kicked out of the league.
Yeah, right.
That's where we find out he's not in the league.
No, not in the National League. Apparently, he pitched for the Mets or something. I don't know. I was like, the National League is a baseball thing.
The DH rule. He couldn't stick around after that went away.
Right.
Then we cut back to Joe getting home early, which somebody already knew had happened.
Yes.
This is important. He gets home early, and his wife is in the bedroom, surprised that he's back
In a cute little
Mopping up.
robe.
in a cute little robe. And they're chit-chatting, and it dawned on me, again, the second time, she's making the bed
Yeah.
while he's sitting on it.
Right.
Okay. And I'm just like, oh, God. He gets up, farting around in the bathroom. They're chit-chatting about his daughter drew a picture of Satan Claus and the teacher. Like husband and wife talk, oh, the teacher wants to see us, and
He
oh,
goes to
this
grab
and that.
some aspirin
Goes
for
to get
his
some aspirin.
Kids wear a lot of makeup these days. They don't put it on with a paint sprayer.
Oh, that's right.
was nice.
That's, okay, father
About his own daughter.
of the year. I couldn't believe when he said she'll be screwing him by the time she's 14.
Yeah.
I was like, Joe, I get they're trying to establish you're a piece of crap, but that is like another level piece of crap thing to say
Totally.
about your own kid.
Yeah, and it didn't, throughout the movie, it didn't line up well.
His one of the worst aspects of this movie is his relationship with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
None of it
making
rings
sense.
true at all.
Yeah.
None of it rings true at all.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on those as we go through. But basically, toilet, notices the seat's up, notices there's steam in the shower,
Her hair's dry.
comes out, looks under the bed, stands up and just goes, "Who's the guy in the closet?" And she turns around, "What?" The steam in the shower, except your hair's dry.
Oh, I sometimes forget you don't remember I'm a detective.
That's right. That's actually a good line. Yeah. And then he goes, but a male somebody because the toilet seat's up. And when I checked under the bed, I figured you stashed him in the closet when you heard my key hit the door, a day early. And then she tries to gaslight him.
Absolutely. You're crazy. You need therapy. You're crazy.
Call your shrink, Joe. This is ridiculous. I'll open the closet and everyone will see what a freaking psycho you are.
No, closet stays closed.
I'm going to put a bullet in that closet. And she still isn't giving up the ghost until the absolute last second when she screams, "Don't," and the door opens and there's Mike in a robe, freshly showered, dripping wet, after having just talked to him on the phone.
Probably from his own house, his own line.
Probably called from his own house.
Do they have it?
Not yet.
Phone?
No caller ID.
But not one of those ones with the whole over the shoulder situation, like a.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
It's a good question.
Maybe he was fancy.
Bag phone.
Bag phone.
Bag phone.
And this dude, Mike, comes out and he acts like he's going to shoot. He goes, "I guess I am losing it, whatever." But he ends up shooting their wedding photo that's on the table there.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him
Nice
just
symbolism.
walking, real subtle. Yeah. This movie deals in subtlety.
Sure, that's what it's
in a way that most movies don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this scene with the gun in the foggy mirror and the toilet seat, whatever, that people in the theaters must have lost their mind.
Oh yeah.
That must have been.
No, I mean, look, little weird things aside, like the stuff with his daughter, the scene itself is great.
Yeah.
It works really, really well. And it establishes their relationship and Mike and all that stuff. There's just a lot of things that don't make sense, like Mike knowing that he's not in Vegas anymore.
Yeah.
That he's at his office and maybe he didn't say he was coming home, but he
was a
could
poor detective.
come home. Yes.
Yeah, right. That's why he was.
So yes, you forget that I'm a detective. Cuts to him walking Mike out to his car.
As you do.
Very casually. Where do you want it, head or gut? Right? how long have you been friends? Oh, I'd say roughly until the time he started banging my wife. I did like the line where he's like, it just happened, man.
Yeah, it's an accident.
The next line is...
That's right. Oh, I just tripped, fell over, and accidentally stuck it in your wife. Oh, guess it's not my week, Mrs. H.
She should do a better job of mopping.
And he gets him outside, punches him in the gut, which he asks for. And then he still wants to take the job. He's like, $500 is $500.
Right.
Takes the job, and Mike goes and gets in the car and blows up.
Kaboom.
Okay. Now, we just spent a time establishing how great of a detective Joe Hallenbeck is. He's such a great detective that he didn't notice Mike's car parked right in front of his frickin' house when he walked up to it.
Unless he did and he was just thinking about it.
Well, when he... they showed that he knew once he put the math together in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Not when he walked up and like, oh, that I know what all of you guys drive. I would be like, oh, Clint's at my house. Oh,
yeah. You saw a 5-liter Mustang in front of your house. You think it was me? Really? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
I did.
Different place, though. I mean,
different place.
Yeah, they're at Los Angeles.
Across the street.
So, I mean, cars on the street, they're who's who?
It's the only car on the street.
Nah.
It's Mike's car.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, many cars could have bombs in them.
You don't know.
How are you supposed to know it's his?
He's been friends with him for years.
Sure.
He would know that that's Mike's car parked out in front of his house.
If you go home today and Mueller's truck's out across the street from your house, you're going to notice it.
Yes, 100%.
If any of my
Mueller drives a truck?
And then check your freaking closet, okay?
Yeah.
Not that we're saying anything about Mueller.
Sorry, Mueller.
Sorry, Mueller. All right, anyway. Joe's a great detective. Cut to the strip club so that we can meet Corey, played by Halle Berry, a very young, early in her career Halle Berry, who doesn't seem to like Joe very much. She goes up to meet him, and they have a very short, terse exchange. And
want me to pay you now?
Yeah. He's like, no,
she's used to getting paid up front, I assume.
Right, I would assume. But he's like, no, it's fine, whatever. And he says... He's pissed about the kind of music that's being played in the club.
Right.
Surprise. Like, why would it, like, sailing takes me away? Like, what does he want?
He wanted Pat Boone.
Yeah, right? Yeah, right.
Not Prince's 22 positions?
No. And she goes, you stick your head in that speaker and you'd be screaming all night, play that funky music, white boy.
What?
He's like, the screaming part, I believe. Right? They go to great lengths to establish in the movie that he hates rap music.
Right.
And makeup on his daughter and all the things,
Super important for the plot.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
Good stuff.
It's not.
Strip club
Oh,
calls her up. Yeah,
right.
sorry,
She changed into those chaps fast. Amazing. It's my turn.
That's Eddie Griffith, wasn't it?
Yes.
Friggin' Eddie Griffith is the tiny little part who I always think of from Deuce Bigalow. Is up there going, oh, please welcome Corey to the stage. And you're right. She just like flash danced herself right into chaps. Wig on. That's about it.
Legs chapped.
Legs chapped. You got Jimmy, who's dating her. Jimmy Dix comes over in his Ebenezer Scrooge hat. And basically just to tell Joe that he's nobody. That's my girl, man. If she's in some kind of trouble, I want to know about it.
Ugh, my eyes could not roll back farther into my head.
You just been ordering your special. I've been cheating on my girl drink
right.
From the bartender at the strip club where your girl works.
Right. He just told her, the bartender, right.
How many of the other patrons think that she's their girl?
Right.
All.
Yeah, does he not know how these places work? They are all supposed to act like they like you.
Right.
Oh, maybe that's what was happening.
He's paying her rent.
It's not just for the lunch buffet.
No, right. He acts all tough. I do love that after acting all tough and throwing his own ice cubes at him and stuff, he actually comes in and tries to punch Bruce Willis, who just catches his fist and just sits him down.
And they'd already said earlier that he's got like the best arm in the National League. So
I was going to say physics. No. The guy who can hurl a football and break somebody's nose is throwing a fist with reasonable velocity.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. He sits him down, and I just wanted him to get up and be like, yeah, I'm going to be back later.
Yeah.
But he just walks away after that. And meanwhile, Joe goes outside, and after Jimmy, who then goes and drags Corey off the stage mid-dance. And so he drags her, we got to get out of here, but they stay at the club.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Because it cuts to a scene of them like laying together. There was apparently a deleted sex scene from the movie, and it seems like they're laying there together after that would have happened. And how I got you a present, but not here. We're gonna go to my place.
If I was a cat, I'd purr.
That's it. Yeah.
And then 13 years later, she was Catwoman.
Yeah. Oh, that's another good point.
Oh,
But then they leave from that.
champagne room.
Is that the shampoo? Wherever it is.
Wherever.
They leave out from the club.
Or his place. Who knows?
Well, but it's right there because her car is still there from the club because Joe is right around the corner. That's why he's able to show up so quickly.
But Joe was watching her, so he was following her wherever they went. He was on.
Well, it looked like they came out of the club, but regardless, it was confusing in how it was put together. So everything I'm saying here has been with a question mark anyway.
And another question mark, he's supposed to be built up as an endearing guy, but then like here, it's like hitting her is the only line left.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. For sure. Joe bends down while he's standing outside to pick up a cigarette and gets knocked out and taken to an alley to be killed by the goon squad, basically.
They wait for a while to kill him.
Yeah, they do.
It's nice.
The guy as he says, dude in the pimp hat pulls him off. Go kill him. There's no contract on him. Well, you're going to do it for free. And he walks him around the corner into the alley.
Yeah.
And this is actually kind of a trope from Shane Black in many of his screenplays. This is kind of a calling card of his. Somebody either using distractions or humor to get out of a situation where they're about to be shot or killed.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's hilarious.
Yep.
So did the guy.
He was even laughing about
Tell
it,
me
right?
more.
He's like,
Yeah, make fun of my wife more. I hate her too.
you gonna ask me how fat she was? No, man, shut up. Pause. How fat was she?
Good timing. Yeah.
Right? And he tells his jokes, which at the time they came out, dude, we were saying that crap on the playground.
Oh, yeah.
Because we learned it in this movie and we couldn't wait to get back to school.
And there was a whole book that came out right around
dozen.
that.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So you saw the whole movie when you were that age?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, was it 91? So
I think we
middle
watched it
school.
at your house.
So we been 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
We watched the movie.
Nice.
Yeah. Because our lives were dope. We did dope shit. I don't know what else to
You
say.
are.
And because your dad was awesome and would run it.
That's right. My dad would let us watch it. So,
Dope.
meanwhile, where am I? Okay. So he's getting out. Coke bottles or beer bottles the guy in the neck, right? Breaks off while he's distracted from laughing at his hilarious jokes. Meanwhile, the Corey and Jimmy come out and Hollenbeck's nowhere to be found. So he's like, Hollenbeck's a bum. I'll follow you home. I'll take care of any problems you have. Cut to him
Observing
a crash and
I
then
was going to say observing the red light is what I was going to say. Like,
Yes.
actually.
Oh, well, yeah, but then not driving through the intersection.
Yeah.
After she gets rear-ended by another car.
Yeah.
And just sits there, and then she gets out and gets gunned down by 4 guys coming out of this vehicle.
Now,
I thought she was going to be in the movie more.
At this point, up to this point, there's a lot of cool cars in this movie. Yeah. Like, there's interesting cars anyway. Joe drives a Riviera, 5-liter Mustang that got blown up. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
She's in, I believe...
She has 2 cars, but yeah.
I know, but I forget which one she was in at this point.
She was in a Stingray.
But she's got the Corvette in this part. And the baddies roll up in a Citroen. Like, what the hell is this thing doing in America, A? Yeah. Then they just destroy it. It's not even like, I thought, I was like, okay, this is an oddball. It'll be something. And like, no, they just destroy it right there on the spot.
I got to tell you, though, that Stingray it was the first Stingray I ever saw with bulletproof fiberglass. As opposed to the fiberglass that bullets would just go through and not ping off of.
How do they get the sparks off the fiberglass? Dude,
I don't know. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Movie magic.
It was incredible.
Maybe the Citroen, like whoever owned it, like got really excited because their car got in the movie or something.
That's probably exactly what it was. But yeah, I'm pretty sure those bullets would have gone right through that Corvette.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Jimmy pulls up, like speeds through the intersection, pulls up, and gets out of the car without a gun.
Right.
And then they all turn to shoot at him, and he's like surprised by it and jumps over the hood like, oh,
football
crap.
throw you.
Yeah. What is he going to get out and do? He doesn't even have a football to break people's nose. He should just keep a pile of footballs in the back. And like Elf. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. He comes out with one handful of footballs, and he's just chucking them at dudes, disarming them, guns flying out of their hands.
I love it.
Best arm in the National League.
Yeah.
Freaking jerks, but that's not what happened. He just dives over the car. He does end up getting back in the car and sandwiching one of the guys, to another guy. But then he just shoots out the windshield.
Yeah.
Like, he still has a gun, man.
Yeah. And it's like 3 feet from you.
Yeah, right. But he just hides on the floorboards and doesn't get shot. Joe shows up, shoots those bad guys up. Some of them get killed. Some of them run away. And it's left, the cops are there real fast, and it's the two of them basically like with their hands up.
Yeah. Drag them down to the station.
And you don't have to be too sad for Halle Berry because she had 2 more films in '91 that were big. It was Jungle Fever and Strictly Business.
Oh yeah,
1 year.
So she was doing great. Yeah, this was kind of the jumping off point for her in this movie, and she's by the end of the decade won an Oscar, I think, right? By the end of the 90s. Wasn't that Monsters Ball, or was that 01? That might have been about 10 years after this that she won her Oscar.
Ish.
So, yeah.
Ish.
Cops bring them in and ream them out as cops do in this these type of movies. You know, you
scream and yell. And
the angry captain.
The angry captain. Well, I know he just looks like a guy who slept in his clothes, but that's not really the guy.
Somebody get Spider-Man. Wrong film, sorry.
He saved the president's life once, and they're giving his backstory, which we see a little flashback of him basically saving this girl who's being assaulted by Senator Boehner, who he was working Secret Service for, after previously saving the president.
Right.
And he's able to get him fired from being a Secret Service agent, basically, after doing that. And that's why he's now working as a PI, and his life has been ruined ever since. It seemed like he used to be like clean-cut Ward Cleaver, I think is how they refer to him before.
I would think that an easy phone call keeps his job and gets rid of the senator. Like, legitimately super easy.
Well, you think he'd have pull with the president.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Super simple. Like, hey, I'm a Secret Service agent, and this guy was beating up a prostitute,
whoever she was, right?
Friendly lady.
There you go.
And I stopped him from doing it.
Constituent.
Yeah, a voter anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me that he lost his job.
And when Jimmy was like, "How did you lose your job?" He's like, "I don't want to talk about it." Like, I'd be like, I saved someone's life probably. So
right. So thanks.
Yeah.
Jimmy wants to keep going on the investigation, and Joe's finally like, all right, well, let's go check out Corey's apartment. But she's got a very sophisticated security system that only Jimmy knows how to bypass. This is how Jimmy talks his way into continuing on.
Like, I know how to circumvent it.
And it becoming a buddy cop movie, essentially, even though neither of them are cops, but it's a formulaic kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
They go to her apartment. The security system was called a door. And Jimmy kicks it in. He's
right.
Like, I circumvented it. I circumvented it.
And I do like how they started this pattern of big words used. That was funny to me.
No, they used, and there's one bad guy later on that's like a walking thesaurus.
Yeah.
I thought that guy he was in one scene,
Scrabble
did a really, really good job.
Inventor.
Yeah, we're getting attacked by the inventor of Scrabble.
That was great.
That's right.
It was very eloquent.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Her apartment has been thrown to pieces, ransacked. They're looking obviously for some piece of evidence, some blackmail. The whole reason people were after her in the first place. And there's some, they're starting to kind of become friendly with each other. He's like, I got to go into the bathroom. He's like, you want to come with me? Doctor said I shouldn't lift anything heavy. Like that. That's kind of par for the course.
Sure.
With the two of these guys and the way that they talk to each other. But really what he's looking for is the drug stash. He knows where it is. And hidden with the drugs is the tape of the senator on the phone with McComb, the owner of the LA Stallions.
Yeah.
And he goes, 10-1, this is what they were looking for, hands it to him, and they go get in freaking Joe's beater car and play it on the cassette player.
He goes to fast forward.
Dude, he gets bored after 10 seconds.
Yeah. It's like,
let's get to the good part.
Fast forward eats the tape.
Yeah.
How is he supposed to know that?
No, he's not supposed to know that, but also it made me love, like, it gave me so many flashback memories of like beater cars that either I had or that had their
or
own,
I still have,
or there were like weird quirks to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right?
Like the CD skipped
right
later. Yeah.
Like my dad had one that like you had to turn the knobs in a specific order to get the heat to come on. You know?
Really?
I've had a lot of Ford pickup trucks. I once had one of my Ford pickup trucks that had so many weird quirks. I drove it every day like there was nothing wrong with it, but everything about it was just an absolute shit show that I didn't want to sell it to anybody. I actually took this thing to the junkyard to scrap it. I literally was going to drive it over the scales and leave it there and take my new battery out of it, and I was going to go home with a buddy who followed me.
Yeah.
And one of the Mexicans in the line bought the truck from me on the spot, and I literally spent 20 minutes telling him everything that was wrong with it that you had to do to keep the thing running properly.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't downshift, so you had to go and manually put it in first gear every time, but then you could put it back in drive. It would upshift fine, but it's like every time you come to a stop, it's just
How much did he pay for it?
$500.
Oh.
But
It's
even
like, what a
even
pile.
these cars, even with all these little quirks, like we still loved them.
Yeah, it was one of the most fun cars ever.
That's what I'm saying.
Big block 460 Ford F-250.
And so as soon as he's like, fast forward eats the tape, I was like, yep, all right, well, here you go. Now, no way Jimmy would have known that, but
Right.
these kind of cars, that stuff happens.
But he was literally angry at Jimmy for pushing fast forward.
Right. But Jimmy, at the same time, like,
We're
But
listening
listen
for
to the
evidence.
tape, like
you
maybe-
can't skip past the evidence when you don't know where it is.
right, it could be in the first 15 seconds of this tape.
Yeah.
2.5 seconds in. Hey, it's up. Oh, let's get past this.
Let's get past this boring part.
But
right?
also, it's not like scientists can't possibly put back together the Humpty Dumpty that tape.
They didn't have a pencil, otherwise they
Sure.
could've
They would've
just,
been
you know,
fine,
just had to
Sure,
roll it
you
back.
just
Pencil and some tape.
Just
Yeah.
throw it in the garbage can and move on.
That's right. Cops, well, at this point, Jimmy decides to drive himself home in Corey's car because he's like, no, I've had enough for tonight. Which shortly after he gets out, Joe realizes,
got
crap,
another car.
she has another car. Deduces that it's likely wired like Mike's was, and it was. And he gets him out of there before he turns the key, and they pull this just shoebox-sized chunk of C4
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh out of the...
Yeah.
Angry Play-Doh.
Bottling clay.
Yeah, it's called angry
Spicy Play-Doh.
Spice. Good. They pull this block of C4 out, and these two guys walk up like, "Excuse me, sirs, you were supposed to blow up." As these dudes are walking up, they put the Play-Doh in the trunk of the car.
Right on the lock.
Yeah,
Right
then-
on the key lock.
and then shut it.
Yeah.
Genius. Knew exactly how this was going to work.
I didn't understand it. I was like,
No.
why? I just can put the key in, then it'll explode. I didn't realize.
I wish they would have done that.
That would have been better. Like, wait, what?
Here's the key, and they just start to back up slowly. No, but instead they get smacked around. Joe Hallock gets hit in the face so many times in
Yeah.
this movie.
They're both talking trash, back and forth.
Like 12 times he gets punched in the face.
Yeah.
He gets abused
It's not enough.
a ton. And basically, this is the one where the dude's dropping the big words. And I don't remember what the character actor's name is, but I thought he crushed it. It was his only scene that he was in, the thesaurus dude. Because he had the big Mongo-looking
Yeah.
dude with him.
He was good.
But the other, I thought for a minute it was Dan Castanella because he looked like the dude that does the voice for Homer Simpson, but it's not him. I was like, oh, is that Homer? No. But it looks very similar to him.
Jack Keller.
There you go. Jack Keller. Kudos to Jack. He crushed it. He's like, oh, he takes his job very seriously, right? Like this guy just keeps decking him in the face.
Yeah.
So at this point, he gets hit that many times, and he can catch the hand of
Yeah.
the
Jimmy.
quarterback.
Jimmy,
right?
yeah.
So really, this role should have been someone huge. Is what we're learning. Because
Yes.
unless he did like Taekwondo on a mountain somewhere for decades before
show
he
us
joined the
doing
Secret
that.
Service, I don't know why. If he is falling asleep in cars and whatever, just
Or in his living room, 12-ounce curls.
Because they're showing him in some ways to be a screw up,
Yeah.
but in other ways to be hyper capable
Yes.
Yeah.
and never afraid.
So in Die Hard, they make him look strong, but
Yes.
here it doesn't make sense.
No, you're right. But the whole thing about Die Hard is that he was still fallible. He hadn't have shoes on. His feet were ripped up. Like he still was like
He was vulnerable.
Yeah.
person, which is what made the movie exciting.
Right.
Where in this case, it was like, didn't matter if there was 12 guys with a gun in his face. He was still like,
Super cool.
you know,
Didn't care.
guys, I'm going to kill each and every one of you. You know what I mean? Right? It's just like, okay, man.
Touch
we
me
get
again,
it.
I'm going to kill you.
You're a tough guy. Right.
He punches one guy and kills him.
Yeah, literally. Face killed.
Touch me again.
Put his notes for his praise, man. They finally are like, all right, the evidence is in this trunk, which he then chucks the key,
Oh, yeah, here's the key.
whoop.
Throws it over.
You're going to pay for that. Open the trunk to Mongo. And they barely take a step away in time for this.
Yeah, they were good to go
off. And they go great explosion. Great explosion.
Yeah.
Great
Off
jump.
the cliff. Yeah.
Launching 2 stuntmen off the side of a cliff. Cool stuff. Joe's got a little bit of a nosebleed. Do we even have to say it? We should say it.
I mean, if they hit the detonator.
What detonator? Oh, there wasn't even a detonator in there.
There's one in the center.
Oh, was there?
Yeah,
Okay.
the wire runs to it.
Oh, so it's plausible.
Cord. That's the only thing that could have possibly done it. Otherwise,
The bullet shot into C4
it just put a hole in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's pretty common knowledge at this point. So
Yeah, you can burn it. You
it.
can step on it. You shouldn't step on it while burning it.
No, maybe not.
even that, you're not going to get enough compression.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy's like, take off, man. I'll take the heat on this one. Cops show up again. Cops ream him out.
Couldn't he just run also?
He could have also I guess at that point they make you look guilty. I don't know. But
What? Was his DNA on?
somebody blew up a car.
His car was there.
Oh.
Yeah, his vehicle was there. That's true.
Touche.
The cop threatens to shoot him because if I see your face again, I'm going to put a bullet in it. Okay. Leave this to the police. This is a police matter. The guy, I thought it was a cool moment where the other cop was like, I want to shake your hand for what you did for the president or whatever. And then off they goes. And Jimmy is still sitting outside the police station and he still wants to keep going. This dude does not want to quit. And he says this line, actually, look, I like it. He goes, my girl is dead. And the guys that did it are probably up at Spago eating chicken Marcella. It ain't right, man. And this is where he drops or reindeer goat cheese pizza. I'm like, what is Bruce Willis's fascination? Well, he thinks it's funny. Like I bet one time in a newspaper or a menu or something, he saw that some bougie place in California was serving reindeer meat goat cheese pizza and thought it was the most dumbest California thing of all time. And he works it in.
It would be
all the time now to everything.
Nice.
That's the only thing I can think of.
There's somebody out there who has that Spago line tattooed in their arm or something.
Yeah, I know.
It's just not right.
It's just ain't right.
Or it's his favorite dish.
Yeah, maybe he loves it.
Trying to put a little piece of himself into every film.
That's it.
So first, though, we got to stop at
He
home.
owns stock in the reindeer goat cheese pizza company.
Oh, he's playing chess.
He's
There it is.
trying to get
There
it
it
out
is.
there.
Wolfgang Puck, but him instead.
The silent partner.
Well, he was a silent partner on Planet Hollywood, and look how that went.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thought that was going places.
Not great. First, we got to stop at home and meet the fam before they continue with their investigation. And his daughter, Darian, is there, and she talks with a cat puppet, so she's fine.
Yeah, totally
I
stable.
could not believe that sound came out of her mouth in this movie. I was like, wow. Terry is watching TV.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She practiced.
0 times.
Joe is the father of the year material. Let me tell you, he spends his whole scene reaming his daughter about a party that she wanted to go to, and he couldn't go, and he chucks the ice cream out the window. He yells at her. She's calling him an
She got
F
more
up.
ice cream anyway from the freezer as
Yes,
well.
she did.
And then didn't eat it.
Right.
She just set it down. Look, I can waste ice cream too. See?
Right. After all this nonsense, and the wife makes a very brief appearance to tell the daughter to go to bed. They stare at each other, don't say anything, off she goes. Now it's time for Jimmy and Joe to have their first heart-to-heart moment here, right? And this is where we find out, and I'll just summarize. We don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but basically that I wish water wasn't wet. I wish the sky wasn't blue. I wish I still didn't love my wife. So we know that Joe isn't ready to leave his wife even after what happened. We learn about Jimmy's son who died in the car accident before he was born, right? I think.
Yeah.
Alex, the accountant, he tells that whole story, and they're having
It was a good
their
monologue.
First
It was
bond. I
well
thought it was
done.
great. That monologue was much better than the one that's about to happen in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I thought was a little too on the nose, right? Because right after this, he's like, I'm gonna go take a shower, man. He's like, cool, and then Bruce Willis goes to bring him a towel mid-shower,
Gives him just long enough to get naked.
and
Brought you a towel.
brought you
I know it's a sight gag for the
sight gag for the
audio
podcast.
program,
Love that. But he comes in and he's like, yeah, so you're clearly doing drugs in my bathroom. And Joe doesn't appreciate that and just punches him right in the face
And flushes his stash.
and flushes his stash.
Not in the house with my daughter who I care for.
That's like
Oh,
$1,000,
yeah.
man.
Although he did care enough to not let her go with I guess, a boy to the party.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
She was extremely disrespectful.
Very much
I
so.
think that I could care about a human and then be that disrespectful to me that I would get pissed off enough to be a dick back. Not like because I care, but because I'm hurt.
Yeah.
I possess the flaws
Of
to make
of
that
all
happen.
the ways he mistreated his daughter, this was the least of them.
Yeah.
In this movie, yes. At this point, we get this monologue from Damon Wayans that about how it starts off because you're taking painkillers because your knees hurt and you got to get through the game and all this, and then
That's what he said. I take it to get by. It's like, I don't take it. I get by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
that's right.
a good line.
yeah, and he says, and then you're next thing you know you're talking to God, right? And like what's this dead wife and kid crap, and he's going this whole thing about how he then you find out you're out of the league because you gambled. Why is there an injury report in the NFL, right? So they have an accurate spread and all legitimate. That's legitimate because it was the big for a long time secret that everyone knows isn't a secret, right? That people gamble on the NFL and that's why there's an injury report. But at the same time, we're like, yeah, idiot, but players still can't gamble on the games. Otherwise, it's easily, manipulated, right?
Yeah.
And point shaving and all that stuff. So he has this big dramatic moment with blood dripping from his lip and off he storms. And on his way out, his daughter tells him, who's suddenly now bright and cheery.
Sorry, I was a bitch earlier. Or whatever.
Right, that's exactly what she says.
Yeah.
You're my dad's hero.
Yeah. Does he punch all his heroes?
And then he signed the card
Sign my card.
He did.
to make the name of the movie, which is never otherwise referenced.
He did the thing.
I was just going to say, it's like, oh, they did the thing. They said that, signed the thing.
He signed the thing.
To the daughter of the last Boy Scout.
Yep. Because he looked at his picture in the house and looked like, he's like, oh, you were Ward Cleaver, right?
Yeah.
Because he was all clean cut
Yeah.
looking.
But he wasn't a Boy Scout.
Well, but they had, even his daughter, remember when they had the flashback of him in the hospital after taking the shots for the president?
Yeah.
She looked like very much more put together and neat and clean. And Daddy, here, I drew a picture of you, and everything seemed happier and more like picturesque American family.
I just don't think of Boy Scouts as like, I don't want to say they wouldn't, but as the protector of someone, I think of them as like they're very smart at navigating and surviving.
Sure.
But I don't think that's what he represents. I think it's more protection.
Here, Boy Scout is goody goody. He literally straight and narrow,
Right.
does the right thing, kind of
I hear
goody
ya.
goody. But
For sure. Here's the thing I wanted to get to. Because there was a very dramatic, intense scene of him yelling at his daughter and all the stuff with Jimmy, and it was just a whole lot crammed into 10 minutes. But suddenly the movie shifted tonally, very serious ground.
Yeah, because that kind of conversation happens every day, everywhere.
And then from there, the next tone shift is even crazier because the next scene, Jimmy is walking out to his car. He's met there by 3 thugs. One of them is Kim Coates, who we last saw in Waterworld, who's, oh, is this the guy? Oh, this is the guy, the famous football player. They throw him ass first over an overpass that's at least 3 stories up, and he lands on his back on a hood of an old, hard car.
That's enough to make him pass out.
And he gets up and cracks jokes about Super Dave before he passes out. I'm like, what movie is this?
Yeah, Super Dave?
Oh, that's an old reference from the early 90s. There was a TV show, a comedian called Super Dave would do these ridiculous stunts, and it was like obviously a dummy where he'd get killed, but then he'd jump up and it'd be fine and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so
it's
it's a very dated reference that would not age well after the fact. But it's more the fact that like he stood up. It was like, hey, I'm a professional. Guys, it's me and Super Dave. And then passes out.
Yeah, that's all.
Do you see how high that freaking overpass was?
Should have been.
Think about how many pills he was popping, though.
I don't care how many Percocets you pop.
That strengthens your spine.
You're snapping your spine as soon as you hit the Oldsmobile from 1984 that's 3 stories underneath you.
People got out of their cars. Yeah.
He doesn't have airbags.
But the crowd gathered quickly. I was going to say.
Well, he almost gets hit by another car going by. Yeah,
that's true.
They just slam on the brakes, hop out the cars.
That's true.
He's taken some hits as a quarterback.
You're right. You're right. That's the same thing.
He got stronger every time.
That's the same thing. Meanwhile, just as the cops are starting to suspect Hollenbeck because of stupid contrived plot reasons, Milo is showing up at Joe's and tases him. This is our first time we actually see Milo in the flesh. Tases him and kidnaps him And as they pile him into the car, one of the cops shows up and comes up to the car and knocks. And he's like, is there a problem here? And
great one-liner.
Great bad guy.
Great one-liner.
Great bad guy line.
Good stuff.
Yes, there is a problem, officer. This gun has too many bullets in it.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
Terrible.
It was a groaner.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like, come on.
Smokes the police officer back at Marcone's house
with Joe's gun, and then puts Joe's fingerprints on the gun and throws it out the window.
That's a good, thank you. That's important to include. Very naughty, Joseph. You just killed a police officer. They take him back to Marcone's house, and Kim Coates, who I love, character actor, like I said, Waterworld, he was like the skitzed out dude that came on the boat and wanted to trade the paper for the girl and whatever.
He always plays this sketchy, I mean, not always, but his most memorable.
I should say this too as well. There's some controversy about the scene where the three dudes throw him over the overpass. There's people that say that that's James Gandolfini is the third guy. And if you watch it, it very much looks like it could be James Gandolfini. But it's a tiny part. It was before he had any credit. It was like a year before his first credit on his filmography. And I mean, it's obviously a younger, skinnier James Gandolfini. But then there's some people that claim, no, it's not. No, I look at it, it's not him. And some people are like, no, it's definitely him. But he's passed on and can't answer the question. And I can't decide because there's moments and angles where I'm like, that's so clearly James Gandolfini. And sometimes where I can't tell if it's him or not. So it may be him. It may not be him. But did any of you notice him up there?
I didn't think it was him.
Okay.
But I don't know who it was.
Yeah. It looks just like him if it's not him, but it's possibly James Gandolfini. But no one will ever know for sure because Tony Scott's unfortunately not around to ask either because Tony Scott passed away. I think it was in 2012 when he committed suicide. He jumped off a bridge. Yeah, sad stuff. All right, back at Marcone's house, Kim Coates is working over Joe and keeps decking him in the face every time he asks for a light for his cigarette.
Kim Coates' name, and this is Chet.
Chet. Oh, all right. Perfect. Chet every time. And he just...
I hear that name and I think of Weird Science.
You can have a cigarette. Yeah. Oh, no problem. Give him a cigarette. Wow. Oh, 2 for 2. And he told him, if you touch me again, I'll kill you. And this is when he uses the butt of his palm, basically, to shove his, as they say in the movie, his nose up into his brain, which is really impressive considering that a nose is made out of cartilage.
Now, I don't know if you can use this or not, but this is part of where Kevin Dastick did this to a kid on the playground trying to, like, I don't know if it's from this movie or from Karate Kid.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
he tried to do that to somebody?
Oh, yeah. There was a thing where, like, yeah,
so you could fall down and hit your head and he could have died, but you're not going to die from your nose going into your brain.
Right, but I'm just, that's what
he was trying to do.
the whole thing, because there said, it's like, you could do it, so yeah.
Yeah. I know there was a lot of movies where they perpetuated this myth.
It works great for just, blooding somebody's nose and blacking their eyes.
That's
fantastic for that.
Go for it if you want to put an end to a fight quickly. But the fact that you think it might kill somebody, no. But they might hit their head when they hit the pavement and die. That's
maybe you break their orbital bone and a piece flies into the brain. And
you still have to get through the skull.
I mean, I hear that.
Yeah. Milo doesn't even flinch when he kills that dude.
Right.
He just walks in
total no sell.
Oh, what's going on? Okay. He just freaking killed Chet.
Yeah.
Well, all right. That was very dangerous. Some other guy could have shot you. I don't know why you'd do that. And then he starts smacking Joe around like karate or butt, the butt of the gun into the back of his neck. And he tells him, you touch me again, I'll kill you. And he keeps chopping him. And so finally, Shelley Marcone comes out into the pool and you realize you're at the owner of the LA Stallions house.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, for a man in your position, you're I'll give you credit. You're very cool under pressure.
Yep. He enjoyed a nice little swim.
Yep.
He's not even pissed about the dead guy bleeding out on his pool floor.
No. Meanwhile, Jimmy and Sarah have been brought in for statements, and normally I just skip over this, but I just thought it was, Jimmy's like, I don't know where Joe Hallenbeck is. That's my statement. Shove it up your ass. But I thought it was hilarious how Sarah just had like this baseball hat on and like a coat, and she's sitting there with her knee up, smoking a cigarette, like she's a 16-year-old newsie. You know what I mean? Like just the getup from everything else in the movie just seemed so weird and out of nowhere. I tell you, I don't know where Joe is. Okay,
that is true.
Like what the hell is happening here? Basically, though, Marcone is telling Joe that football is dying. Again, this whole time I was just like, you freak. The whole basis for this plot. Football's dying. There's no heroes anymore. And we need to legalize sports gambling in order to save the game of football.
We need the DraftKings.
That's right. I'm like, hold on. If you just waited 30 years, they've already legalized sports game. Not in Wisconsin yet, but in many states.
Illinois it is.
And lots of other ones. And I'm assuming eventually everywhere you can 100% gamble on football. But really, it was fantasy football was part of the reason that propelled football into so many people were watching it.
Which I thought was called fancy football for years. Because of all of their statistics and you're clicking and you're reading your books and you got to figure stuff out.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, it's true. It is very fancy.
It is for fancy gentlemen.
I was just going to say it's for all the guys who didn't actually play football and they're so fancy.
Right.
I want to do a fantasy draft from time where we all wear tuxedos and just do a very fancy draft.
People
that would be
say
a fancy
so fast.
We should do it in Vegas in August.
It'd be great.
Nobody says all the syllables.
Free agency has ruined the game. I mean, when's it going to be enough? He's saying, right? As he's swimming in his pool in his $1 billion house.
Yeah. Feels like there's an underlying story or a message they're trying to put out there about football.
They are clearly trying to say a lot about football in this movie, and none of it was accurate.
Somebody was hurt by a football.
Somebody was hurt by football. But in the 90s, there was a bunch of these kind of movies about the dark underbelly of football. Even Any Given Sunday tried to kind of do a takedown of NFL culture. And I'm like, the sport just keeps getting more and more popular. Jimmy is out at Senator Baynard's house because he's looking for Joe and doesn't know where he is. He's like, go where the bad guys are. That's how you're going to find him, right? And his daughter, Joe's daughter, hitched a ride to find Jimmy and brought a gun and her puppet to the stakeout.
That's intelligence.
Yes. They follow the senator's bodyguards, leave to go to a meeting in the woods, but Jimmy's following. He doesn't know where they're going. Meanwhile, Milo has Joe in the woods waiting for this very meeting where there's going to be an exchange because he goes, it's easier for me. Marcone told Joe that the senator wants $6 million because he sits he's the chair of the committee for legalization of sports gambling or whatever, right? And so he wants $6 million or he's going straight to the cops. I think it's just going to be cheaper to kill that son of a bitch, right? And so they're not actually handing him a briefcase of money. They're handing him a briefcase full of C4.
Yes.
Which they have a neat little switcheroo thing in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
A lazy Susan in the trunk of the car.
Which really, you just need some guy to go look over there and just a guy puts it in there.
Oh my gosh, what's that?
Which they did anyway.
Oh, a bird. He's like, what? Nobody frisked this guy? This is their distraction. Turns him around, frisks him. And Bruce Willis just looking straight in the trunk as the thing flips around. He's like, oh my gosh. And now they got a picture of Joe handing the briefcase over. Right. The whole thing is he's got motive to kill Baynard because of their past.
I would have laid on the ground and been like, here.
Just like that. You're not getting me in a picture.
Ha ha.
Yeah. Think about this, though. $6 million. If it's going to be a $1 billion industry, I'd say $6 million would be a worthy investment in price of a senator.
I mean, thank you. I'm glad you said that.
You could make an entire Bionic Man for that.
Not only that.
It's true.
If you're an owner of an NFL team,
that's an expense. You write it off.
Even an FFL team,
right?
You have $6 million to pay a senator.
Probably in cash in a briefcase already.
Yes. These organizations, even in the 90s, they were worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Right. So I don't see the intent to kill the senator for any reason.
Especially if you're going to make billions gambling on sports.
And he's the last holdout before.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, can I write the check now? Like literally right now?
Yeah.
I'll bring it to your house.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want it today?
You have a price? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna haggle over $1 million or $2 million.
No, they should have said $600 million if they wanted to be like.
They didn't have a big enough.
They Austin Powers did. They didn't have a big enough ask for the guy.
$1.99 and a free Wendy's number 4.
I could say a 10-piece chicken nuggets.
All right, Jimmy is apprehended before he can do anything. Okay, he's out in the woods, like behind a tree, watching this clandestine meeting.
Yeah.
You know, dude comes up behind him with a gun, walks him up to Joe, who's like, rescue attempt, blow me. And now the two of them together, but the daughter's nowhere to be found yet. Okay. And they'd say to Jimmy, I assume you're alone. No, I got the Vienna Boys Choir with me. Is everybody out here a moron?
Which
I
is kind of
enjoyed that one.
Yes. No, see, Shane's got some great stuff.
I enjoy the specificity
Yes. Good stuff.
of comedy there.
Milo walks up to Joe and he's like, you're always so cool under pressure. He's got like a switchblade right up onto his face. It's like, just once I want to hear you scream in pain.
I wondered why he waited and didn't.
Just do it, right?
If you're talking about that much, just do a little cut.
There's a little pause and he leans and goes, play some rap music.
Yeah.
They thought it'd be funnier.
No.
Like they thought they'd laid the groundwork, came back for the callback.
Yes. And even Milo's like starts to chuckle. And then, guys, to them, what it would have seemed like a 13-year-old girl emerges from the forest with a cat puppet.
Yeah.
She's got problems, just give her space.
Yeah.
And all of these bad guys are just like, oh, okay.
Walk on in.
Get her out of here.
Go right in the middle of this group.
No. It's okay. No, the girl stays, Milo says, right? And then she's like, can you make my puppet talk, mister? And all the bad guys are like, yeah, can you?
Yeah.
You don't let a little girl ask you about a puppet and not do it. Go.
Nice.
So then Joe puts on, he's like trying to say, like, get out of here, kid, like it's not my daughter, right?
Right.
He puts it on and he starts going, oh, where'd you get that suit? Gangsters are us.
But he's able to use his hand to do the mouth of it, and there's a gun in
And
there.
there's a gun
Well, where's he
inside
putting
there.
it? Under his pinky?
But all of these freaking bad guys are just like, he made it talk, boss. Look at this guy with the freaking cat.
We did that today.
He can do it. He moved it, and it seems like the cat is talking. They're all laughing like the biggest idiots
Yes.
in the world. And then he goes, oh, furball. Just shoots right out of the mouth of this cat and he's having a shootout, doubled 2 guns. He picked another one up. He's got a cat puppet on one hand.
Yep.
It looks ridiculous. I love it.
I'm surprised she didn't go, no, because she loved it so much.
Right. That was her only one. Some people I know are smart and they buy copies of their kids' favorite stuffed animals.
You got to start swapping them immediately
And
so
you
that they get
swap 'em.
more.
Equal wear.
Yeah.
Equal wear.
Yeah.
I don't think he had another one of Mr. Fluffy or.
I got to go wash your baby, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wash
Right.
it, give him the new one.
That's smart.
Swap them in.
Keep that in mind, listeners.
They,
Keep that in mind.
The shootout goes on. They end up getting in like a red convertible, I think, right? Like a Chrysler LeBaron.
Yeah, all the cars were turds after the first bit.
The top of which gets like shot off in this impending chase. And
They're just driving. It was a Cutlass Sierra.
Cutlass Sierra. There you go. Yeah.
He was driving that, and all of a sudden, like they get shot in the back window, and the roof flies off.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah.
But what if, yeah.
We'll let it fly.
All right. Sure. He's Rick. Okay. So hold on. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought again. Okay. Car chase. They're trying to get away. They end up running one car off the edge of a cliff. They're trying to get to the bodyguards to warn them about the bomb that was taking the bomb to the Coliseum.
Yeah.
To give to the senator. And they push one car off the cliff and then intentionally drive off of another cliff with Milo next to them in his car. And the 2 cars are going down a pretty steep embankment where he goes off to one side and crashes into a tree and they get out. But Milo's car hits a roof, barrel rolls
Into a pool.
And at some point, Milo jumped out
Must have done.
because there's a very quick shot of him making a move for the door that's supposed to later insinuate that's why he got
I
out.
didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it till the second time I watched it, but and I'm like, so mid barrel roll, he's just like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Being not attached to this car rolling over on the ground is going to be the best bet for me.
Right.
Sure.
And so mid air, he ditched it.
That's what I do. So,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got the guy down in the backyard holding up a 7.
Rick Dukeman, 4th time he's appeared in a movie. He always plays these small little parts. Is just sitting there as the owner of this place, totally no selling the fact that this is happening. A car lands in his pool. Bruce Willis walks up, pulls the money briefcase out, fires 6 shots into the car. Are they still alive in there? Not anymore.
Kaboom, kaboom.
Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I want your car. And Rick Dukeman's like, what? No way, man. Like he's so out of it. And he grabs his own kid
Yeah.
and puts a gun to her head and says, "Give me the keys or I shoot the kid."
And the kid's like, "Dad,
shut up.
Shut up."
Hilarious.
I would never, ever put a gun to my own kid's head, even if I was trying to get away and use the leverage to get what never would I put a loaded gun to the head of my own child.
Yeah.
Well,
it was empty.
Bruce Willis.
I don't give a crap if it was empty.
I know.
I don't give. You got the worst excuses for all of these things that happen in this movie.
Alec Baldwin has taught us one thing: is you don't point guns at people.
That said, it's still within the character world, especially because she was like, "Dad." It was funny to me, even though I would never, ever. Right. But in the sphere of like the terrible person / crazy day situation,
yes.
The writing of it's funny to me.
Okay. I'll agree to disagree.
Great.
But
and you know where I usually stand with this kind of stuff.
No. I know you do. But I'm just like, and maybe this is, like I said, the difference between watching it as a 13-year-old and probably thinking it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And now as, a dad with 2 daughters. Yeah. And I was just horrified.
Yeah.
And there are other ways to get the keys from the guy.
Wait, a lot. How about I'll shoot you if you don't give me the keys?
Yeah.
Right? That probably gets it done. I have to imagine. But no, gun to the temple of my own child. Cool.
Wonder if this is one of those rewrites.
Yeah, it could have been. Well, the whole third act, it had to have been rewritten because the whole third act, it was supposed to take place on the water.
Right.
And so none of that happened.
This is where the whole time they've been sprinkling in these little jokes and stuff like that. This is where they start feeling very, very forced and being thrown in. So, like, this is not, I don't know.
Shane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It feels like Bruce Willis tampering.
For sure. Because you can, there's the moments where you're like, all right, it's clear the guy that wrote Lethal Weapon wrote this movie. And then there's other parts where you're like, what in the hell is this?
Let's make like a chicken and get the flock out of here.
Right. Surf's up, dude, or whatever, like at the end of that freaking movie. All right. They're able to get into another car, and they're now chasing after
the limo.
But Rick Dukeman's character is almost immediately shot in the head by Milo, and Darian is kidnapped. He's on the phone with the cops for like 10 seconds, and he gets blasted. As they're driving for the limo, they argue about Jimmy's crappy artistry. He's like trying to draw a picture of a bomb. What does he say?
B-O-M. Bomb.
B-O-M. He's like, it doesn't look like a bomb. It looks like an apple with lines coming out of it. He says, don't open the briefcase. It's full of fresh fruit. And apparently bomb is some kind of...
means F-U in Polish.
It's F-U in Polish. I couldn't remember the language it was in Polish.
Why would he know that?
I don't know.
Cop,
I was like, is he making that up?
But also, you got senators' bodyguards that are just opening fire on the highway because someone held a sign up to a window.
They were on the way back from accepting a large bribe in cash.
That's true. That's true. All right. But still, is bomb actual? Do we know if bomb is actually a FU in Polish?
I do not.
Can we find out?
Gentle listeners,
because
if you can let us know.
Please. It'd be awesome. As they're weaving it out of traffic, trying to catch up to these guys, he's drops his line out of nowhere. If I survive this, I'm going to dance a jig.
Yeah.
Apropos of nothing.
Yeah, let's hang on to that.
Okay. They lose them off the next exit ramp, and they go on to another like overpass. Oh, it's one of those parts where there's like multiple tiered highways over each other, right? Like what are those called? The interchange. You know? And they lose them off one, so they pull over, and Bruce Willis jumps out of the car, runs right through a already cut fence.
Ding.
Runs up to the edge of his overpass, and there's another highway under him, and then under that is the road that the limo's actually on. And so from 4 stories up, or however far he is, shoots the tire out with his pistol on this car, and then jumps off of his highway into the embankment. He's fine.
There's special highway gravity we've established earlier with Damon Wayans as well.
Well, that's right, but he wasn't used to taking shots, at least this guy. Right. But he and even the shot, the way they shot it, not to dig on Tony Scott here, but they showed him falling for such a long time. He's just like doing this with his legs together, and he's like kind of falling sideways. And then I'm like, that's a lot of airtime.
3 hand waves is 20 feet.
That's a lot of mile an hour.
Seriously, hits the thing, wakes up, shoots the guy that's drawing on him out of the limo, and at this point, Jimmy is now pulling up next to them, and they grab the other briefcase. Now they have the bomb briefcase and the cash briefcase.
Yeah.
and they're good to go, right? We did it. But no, Milo is calling them on the phone. I've got someone that wants to talk to you. Dad, it's me. It's okay. I'm okay. This movie was almost over.
Yep. Yep.
I have your daughter come to the stadium. And it only continues to get more ridiculous as the third act continues.
Right.
Because they get to the Coliseum and all the security guards are like, oh, yeah, sure, Jimmy. Head straight up to the owner's box right up there. Oh, right up to McComb's office. No problem. No tickets. Doesn't matter. Head on in, even though you're banned from the league.
National League.
From the National League and the FFL. They let him through. No problem. Played 1 year on that team. They go through they have to go through the tunnel where the team runs out to get to Marcone's office.
That seems legit.
Okay. Because as the team's running out, we see Bear again. Joe, you son of a bitch, you broke my nose. I'm going to kick you out of here. You're out of the league. How you want to get kicked off the entire planet? With the shotgun to his chin.
No one else noticed that.
What kind of rounds were in those shotguns?
Oh, thank you for remembering. Because as they're getting out of the limo, he's like, oh, they got shredders.
Shredders, man.
That's right. These are special bullets.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant. No.
They explode on impact and kill everything in a 10-foot radius.
Yeah.
Are these real? Are there such a thing?
There are HE rounds, but no.
I didn't know enough to know. I just went, okay.
You've got breaching rounds that you can go through a lock with, but...
not going to kill everything in a 10-foot radius.
You don't want to stand within a 10-foot radius of it.
No, thanks.
Gotcha. But yeah, so he's got the shotgun with shredder rounds in it and in his pocket. And up they finally go after having a little run-in with Bear in the hallway up to Marcone's office. And Darian is there with her Uncle Shelley. And Milo is now the backup plan because the bomb isn't there anymore. Milo is going to shoot the senator with a sniper rifle that he kept in the trunk of a car that he didn't have to drive over there with.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, don't you carry one?
Unless it's in Marcone's desk. He's like, hold on, I got a sniper rifle in the third drawer here.
He's a little unhinged, this guy.
Bit.
So
Maybe he was a Boy Scout and he's always prepared.
Where's he going to be? I'll tell you what, he's in a highly enlightened position.
Yeah.
this movie, they love to tell him, Joe, what's going on. They're just like, we're going to frame you.
That's right.
Get ready.
I would say he's a bright kid, a real straight shooter. I give him a glowing recommendation.
It's going to be lights out for the senator.
He's going to shed some light on things. It's going to be lights out.
I mean, I enjoy a good pun.
I feel like I have to push this button a lot.
Go ahead. That's at least 4.
Yep. Well done.
He should have delivered like 4 of those in a row, and they just went, he's on the lights.
He's up there, light tower. See it? All right.
But weren't there multiple
Everybody
light towers?
got that?
There were many light towers.
That's the other thing, and you couldn't see them.
No.
So,
Just pick one.
Yep.
He's just like, that one's probably it.
That's where I'd do it.
yeah. Perhaps,
They should have had that line in there because that at least helps a little bit, right? Even though that's in itself kind of dumb.
Well,
right?
no, because as a, like if you know where your target's going to be,
Sure.
as a Secret Service person, you would be looking at where possible.
I always
protection
want more shots of people doing the math in these situations, right? That's all I want.
That was the closest to the nacho cart.
right?
That's right.
The lady with the geometry
And I
over her
remember
head.
that Baynard loves nachos, and I'm not going to say it.
Great.
You.
Now we'll all be wondering.
Speaking of whores, this is when he calls Corey one. Remember, Marcone says she's the sweetest whore I ever tasted, right?
Yeah.
And Jimmy says, "There's 5 feet of marble between you and me. Maybe I make it, maybe I don't. But you call her a whore again, and we're gonna find out." He goes, and Marcone, cool as a cucumber, goes, "Jimmy, do what you gotta do."
Yeah.
Right.
I got people.
Like something, like he doesn't give a crap. He stands up. He's got his own pistol. He's like, he started getting hooked on Demerol because he couldn't take the pain. But life is pain, and he puts Jimmy's hand on the desk and shoots him right in his throwing hand. Boom! It's all bleeding like crazy. He's wrapping up. He's like, "Walk it off, son," which is probably the most legitimate football critique in this entire movie.
Yep.
Rich, because that is kind of how it is. Broken leg, walk it off, son.
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it.
Now, how's the owner going to explain the hole in his desk after today?
He does what he wants.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, desk pop is one thing, but
you do desk pop? You haven't done your first desk pop? There's a movie I want to do.
What?
Oh my gosh. You have to explain that to Nicole.
Guys?
The other guys, yeah.
The other guys, Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg.
Aim for the bushes.
Yeah, they did. Desk pop is where you shoot your gun off in the office.
at your desk.
At your desk.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, that was a good pull.
Yeah.
They're going to shoot him. They're like, all right, kill them both. He's like, well, what about the $6 million? This is where Joe's like trying to get him. And he comes up with a story about it being in a white BMW and only he knows where it is. And, you know, if anything happens to you, let me guess, the tape goes to the police. Like, no, the mob, actually, they're going to lose $2 billion on their bookies and stuff, which actually makes, you see his face change a little bit when he says that, right?
I like that.
But Jimmy, it's like a double switch because Jimmy says, he's bluffing, man. It's actually in the car. And Joe is acting like he's like, don't tell him to shut up, but they're doing this on purpose, right?
Which I didn't remember where they'd put each one. And I was like, oh
right.
man, he's going to get it.
Yeah. And he goes, I got the key right here in my pants. It's in a locker, and I've got the key.
Yeah.
And he...
That sounded like he was being rude.
Yeah.
Right here.
Right here. And he pulls it out because you got to promise to let me go. He's like, bull crap. You give it to me or I'll kneecap you. He throws it into the fire. He's like, now nobody gets the money.
It's one of these polymer keys.
It's one of them new plastic keys. The kind that shred. And they dive out of the way and boom!
Knock the shotgun out of the other guy's hand.
Yep.
Fight ensues.
They pick up the shotguns. They're kneecapping all these dudes, you know, from the floor. And Markham gets out and just runs out of the stadium to his car. Like, he is gone.
So
he
now-
is leaving.
I'm at a football game. Standing
Yes.
in line to get nachos.
Yeah.
Maybe to take a leak. You
Yeah.
don't know.
You
see
don't.
the owner running down the stairs and out. I'm going to ask some questions.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and figure out why.
Everybody knows who the guy is. He's on television.
Yep.
It's not like they don't know.
This guy
that's the owner.
doesn't look like he runs often.
know.
If I see a guy who doesn't look like he runs, if I see me running somewhere, I am going to follow me because some bad shit's happening.
Yeah, if you see Clint running, just run in that direction. Don't ask. Okay?
It's probably safe to say it's necessary.
Joe says, all right, I'm going to go find Milo. He's got to be up in those light towers somewhere. He's such a good detective, you guys.
Wow.
He figured it out. He tells Jimmy, you got to go find Baynard. What do? Get his attention, right? Now... I told you, it just escalates in absurdity. Jimmy is able to get down on the field, on the sideline, and
Security guards are all saying hi to him by name.
you're going to...
Hi, Jimmy.
Yes. You're going to tell me that an offensive lineman in the middle of a game is going to track down 6 shotgun-wielding cops to go hunt down Jimmy Dix because of what happened in the tunnel. In the middle of a game, it's a cut to Bear going, oh, he's over there, like leading all these cops on the side. And then I'm like, what is happening? This is a game.
And then
he
gets on a horse.
gets on a horse.
The natural progression.
And he can ride a horse.
Yes.
Well, they
which is
talked
important.
about earlier as they were walking into Joe's house.
Oh,
they were
that-
talking about how, they got us all on horses. It was just a fun callback.
Because cars are getting better or harder to steal, so the
Yeah.
brothers all riding horses now, right? Yeah. Rides out onto the field, plays contain out in the flat better than the linebacker does, and makes the play on the running back out in the flat and tackles the guy with the horse. And he's like, "Give me the ball," and they do. I mean, all kinds of. Meanwhile, Tony Longo's running on the field. There's shotguns in the air on the football field. Running out like you've seen security guards tackle people on the field. None of them are wielding shotguns.
Not once.
While they're doing that. And he's riding now, football in hand. And here's Milo lining up his shot. Joe is not quite, and he's getting over top of him, but he's not quite to him yet. Baynard is just standing up in his box, the open air box, like,
I'm waiting for him to
Just
catch.
wait.
horse.
oh,
Yeah,
there's
right.
a guy on a horse there. Ooh. And Jimmy hits him in the face.
No, I think he didn't get there. I think it caught the football, but he didn't hit him in the face.
It did. It did. It hits him in the face because he's got a bloody nose when he gets
I
up.
thought he hit the
and as soon as it's like simultaneous because as soon as the ball gets there and hits him, then the ball explodes.
Okay.
Yes, but it's edited not
Moved
great.
his
Yeah.
face.
Yes, but he hits him in the face.
All right.
It's funny.
Movie. Disbelief thing. Got it. He got shot in the hand, throwing hand.
Right.
Yes.
Makes this throw. A guy who is such a candy ass about pain is addicted to drugs from pain.
There's adrenaline, Clint.
So now his hand
and airbags.
All right. I've just been checking while we're sitting here. There is not 9 millimeters worth of space between the bones on my hand.
Maybe he had less wind resistance on his hand.
So it was able to move faster.
Did he use the other hand?
No, he threw it right-handed. He got shot in the right hand.
He flew
but
right-handed.
you're breaking 1 or 2 bones minimum in the top of your hand here, guaranteed when you get shot through the top of your hand.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that throw. That's the only part of the movie I got a problem with.
The rest is fine.
The rest is good.
Even if he hasn't not been playing for over a year, even if he was perfectly practiced and in game shape with a hand that was not shot, the man is in a luxury box and he's on a horse in the field.
Uncle Rico would have made that throw.
So he would have thrown it over the mountain. So you're saying a luxury box is what, probably 50 feet up?
And very far
Right,
back.
but I'm saying it's 50 feet up?
Yes.
Well, he's 6 feet up on a horse.
Okay.
So that takes a little off. So we're talking
But you're
44
still
feet.
sitting
What
down.
was the wind speed?
I mean, Johnny Mox threw a dart to a ref from the bench, and we were like, "Holy crap!"
Right, that's what I'm saying.
This
This is
dude's
a-
sitting down on a horse.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not the fact that it's 50 yards away.
No.
That's not the problem.
No.
It's the fact that it's 50 yards away and 50 feet up. This is
If not
literally
more than that.
The
Right.
altitude. So he's 50 yards at really high.
Right.
No way.
You couldn't shoot a football out of a jugs cannon and hit a luxury
What's
box.
a jugs can?
The thing that they shoot the footballs out of when we would do punt return. Remember the 2 tires that spin and you go poof, when you threw it through there?
I didn't know that was. I didn't know that was called jugs.
They're called-
I would have
it's
made
called a
lot
jugs
more
machine.
Jokes about that.
Okay,
You couldn't missed opportunities there.
Yeah.
Forget that then. You couldn't fire a football out of an RPG and hit the senator from the middle of the field. Okay. And now I'm all for suspending disbelief in movies. I am.
Yeah,
And there's so much we're like, okay, whatever, it's a movie. But you get to a point where it's like, okay,
Did we add the speed of the horse
Right.
is that part of it?
plus the throw?
Right.
I don't know how to do that kind of math.
Mythbusters.
As soon as they put the alphabet into math problems, I was done. I can't do it when there's
Alphabet. Oh, you mean like words?
Yes, when there was words in math, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think this is
Susie
the kind of
had
math
4
you need to have words in, right? If you were to do the calculations.
Yep.
Parentheses.
Algebra.
There's parentheses in words. I was like, nope.
That's
can't
it.
do it.
That's it.
Anyway, he blocks a bullet with a football, and Joe drops down onto Milo, and there's a scuffle in which Joe ends up dangling from the fencing.
Yep.
He starts to fire on a helicopter. Helicopter swoops in. Real great response time here.
Yep.
Police chopper in the air. They just generally circle football stadiums while games are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you know that?
They were inside the stadium.
I know.
That's lower than the lights.
That's what I know.
Inside the stadium.
That's what I'm saying.
That's cool.
And they're firing guns back and forth. And then eventually Milo runs out of bullets and he's looking for his bag. And this is where Bruce Willis has to climb back up and he goes, looking for this.
He's like, my insulin.
Milo
I'm
chucks the
diabetic.
gun at him, which he catches and uses as a club.
Which
was
I would
awesome.
much rather have the gun than the knife at that point.
Yes.
But I don't know why he closed ranks to get into knife range.
Yeah, me neither. But he hits him, clubs him. He ends up getting knifed in the leg, but he's punching the crap out of Miles. Says, I told you if you touch me again, I'd kill you. But then the gunshots start. There's like a whole row of shooters on the ridge of the stadium.
Amazing response time.
Start shooting.
Additionally, these shooters wouldn't know who is who and would probably neutralize both.
Right. Joe's
say-
yelling, not me, like they're going to hear him.
Yeah.
Over the gunshots. Not me.
Yeah.
And Milo gets lit up.
And if I was a bad guy and that works, every time somebody starts shooting, not me.
Not me. Milo falls off of this platform
Through the fan.
and gets turned into frickin' marinara by this helicopter.
They don't show the fans below who are like, oh.
Just getting sprayed with Milo meat.
Gross.
Why is the helicopter underneath him?
That's what I'm saying. Why is the helicopter under the lights in the stadium?
And how did that helicopter not crash afterwards?
After the body hits it,
After
right?
it just destroyed those rotors.
Right.
Right?
It just, Oh.
I think they might have a lift problem at that point.
I mean, if you wanted to make a statement about football in this game, you should have ended with him impaled on a goalpost. Like he fell off.
Fantastic.
That wouldn't have been the best way to do it.
And then
all the way down,
slide all the way down.
He just goes,
like right.
Like in Family Guy. Yeah, exactly.
It just takes forever.
7 years later.
right? That would have been more in the tone of the movie, I feel like, when he gets just shredded.
You know, with Gallagher being the halftime entertainment, everybody already had their tarps up.
There it is.
Perfect.
Watermelon.
That's
Watermelon.
so perfect. Joe, just as the final stupid cherry on top,
Hollenbeck.
He called it though.
he dances a jig, which is fine. That's not even what I'm mad about. That's fine. Dance a jig. Everybody's into it, like the end of Naked Gun when there's like a Jew and an Israeli and everybody on the field, they're all hugging each other and crying.
Jumbotron.
And like Jumbotron, and everyone in the whole place is into it, and they're all like, oh, wow, he's dancing. Like they didn't just watch a guy get sauced on a chopper blade
Right.
30 seconds earlier.
Yeah, now it's
The moms let go of their kids' eyes now.
Sponsored by Slap
like,
Chop.
Oh,
You're going to love my nuts.
oh my God.
Slap Chop commercials were awesome.
Out in the parking lot, Joe header guts a senator and doesn't get arrested or
Right.
anything.
The owner got away with the briefcase.
Right. He goes, oh, he wasn't bluffing. He shoots the window out, sees it in the back seat, grabs it, and takes off.
Yeah, takes off, gets away with the briefcase. They get out to the car.
Sarah comes up and apologizes, and he says all these horrible things that they laid the track for earlier about how I wish you would say something to me like you're a lying
But
bitch
I'd
and all
forgotten that, and he was just like, F you. And I was like, oh, man, that's disappointing. And
No.
then he's, for all of the dummies
And
in the
if all the
back,
cops
said
were-
the whole rest of the line that she was
Right,
saying. And I was
that she
like,
was saying
oh.
before.
I
And she's crying, and they make up, and she says, I'll buy a dog and all that. But yes, meanwhile, the cops pull the other briefcase
Yeah, the
out.
cops pull the other briefcase with the money. So now they don't get the money, and they realize, oh, he's got the other briefcase. And then, boom, the
So speaking of
house on
dogs-
top of the hill just explodes.
So she was going to buy a dog, but his dogs exploded with him because they were dogs.
Oh,
with
the two Dobermans right there.
Bye, dogs.
Here's my thing. When they pull the briefcase out and they open it, the boys act surprised that it's the money briefcase. Why in the frickety frick would they let him open the case
Right.
if they thought it was the bomb?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hello?
Terrible detectives.
Because they're all like, oh, that means he got the wrong case. Oh, yeah.
Which
So
would have been
we'd
you.
be dead otherwise.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Otherwise, so why weren't you stopping him?
Yeah,
If
don't
you
open
weren't
that, don't
sure,
open that.
it might be a bomb.
I mean, 50-50 shot at $3 million.
Yeah, good thing we recovered this $3 million.
That's what I would have
We got it, guys.
That there was actually all of the money in it because they could have just put paper wadded up
books.
at the bottom. Yeah, phone books.
Phone books. Oh,
For those of you who don't know, phone books used to come from the phone company, and they would give you everybody's number, and you could advertise your businesses there.
Marcone, this is another piece of trivia because we've done this movie also. Remember when the ex-wife's house blows up in Last Action Hero when he turns the eyeball and he's like, no, wait, and goes, poof.
Yeah.
They used the exact same explosion from Last Action Hero, from this in Last Action Hero. So they took this explosion and superimposed it. It's the exact same explosion
Why waste
from
a
his
good explosion?
ex-wife's house that they used in. Yeah, but obviously it was first in this one.
Yeah,
but I just thought
recycling.
that was funny because they
That
were
is.
both written by Shane Black, but directed by different people.
I just thought of something. You know what else you could do with phone books?
Tear them in half.
You could sit on them if you're like 5'7" and trying to reach
So you could see out of a car better or something.
Like if you were
trying to
Aaron
reach-
Paul driving a Lamborghini.
Or anything.
just a short person,
Yeah, I got you. They are hanging out back at his house, and everything's they didn't just try to everything's better. He's like saying we'll take it a day at a time, and
What's next for us?
yeah,
Tomorrow, I guess.
tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes from here. And Bruce chucks the football back to Jimmy, and I'm like, Bruce is a lefty? I never realized that, but he chucked, and it was a good, nice, tight spiral. I never knew Bruce Willis was left-handed.
Okay.
Just a little side weird note. I was like, he just chucked that lefty. They walk
Southpaw.
away, talking about how, I need a partner, and they're setting up a sequel that never happened. Not shocked after the, horror show that it was to make this movie behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That there never was a second one, but they're talking about how you have to do send-off lines, and he says, like, I'll be back. And he's like, no, not that one. Guy comes at you with a surfboard. He goes, surfs up, and hits him in the face, and like just talking literally out loud about the tropes and stuff. And then off they go. And we never got The Last Boy Scout 2, sadly, but that's the end of this movie.
The last Boy Scout.
That's because there were no more Boy Scouts.
That's right. Huh? If this had been called the penultimate Boy Scout, then you could have had the last.
You could have, but we didn't.
Speaking of big words and Scrabble inventors,
I think.
That's right, Raph. Stay down.
I'm just throwing toys around over here.
Would casting Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Last Boy Scout have made it better?
Yes.
I think absolutely. Partly, I mean, The Expendables, but it was a huge ensemble. We never got a Bruce Willis Arnold team up movie.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been, they were buds. And I think that would have been really awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And Arnold could be a football player.
Sure.
I mean, maybe not a quarterback. They could have had to maybe change to a different position because.
I could see it working out.
But they could totally have him do it. Have them have a team up movie and rescue attempt, blow me. It'd be awesome. Listen to me.
You sound like the guy in the pool.
Or, jeez. Or do you swap it and Bruce Willis is the former football player and Arnie's the private investigator that's down on his luck? Right?
No.
He's never going to be down on his luck.
No, he could do it. And he never got it. End of Days is the only time where they had the whole like drunk, wake up, unshaven, doing like a hangover cocktail in his blender, blinds, or it's like middle of the day, He only ever got to do the Bruce Willis intro like that one time, basically. But I think he could have done it. Listen, I had intercourse with your wife last night. Ask me how fat she was. How fat was she? She doesn't do any cardio or work on her deltoids. She's so flabby that she leaves footprints in concrete. Okay? So we need to turn that mush into muscle. It just would have been a little bit of a different tone because it's not Bruce Willis.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it still could have worked.
It would have sold it.
I think so. Listen, when she steps on a scale, it says, come on, guys, one at a time. No? Okay. It just had to be a little more wholesome. It had to be a little more wholesome.
Yeah.
Because it's Arnold.
Yep.
Right?
Could have made him Halle Berry's character.
Make him a stripper?
Yeah.
Cowboy hat.
It would have still been better.
Blonde wig.
I don't care how bad that is. It would still be better.
Welcome to the stage, luscious Arnie. In the chaps still, of course.
Absolutely.
The chaps still have the stars on his chest.
You
have those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Got to do it.
Or on the abs.
Or on the abs.
Because they don't reach
A
up high
bunch of
enough.
stars.
Listen, you stick your face in that speaker and you'll be screaming, play that funky music, white boy. All night. He does the hip bump and Bruce Willis flies out of his chair.
Well, if it was Bruce Willis, he would have been able to catch the punch from Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, that's a
or
good
not
point.
Jamie Kennedy. I'm an idiot. Why did I say that?
Wow.
Where did that even come from?
No.
I was thinking in this movie that Damon Wayans was like trying to be a Jamie Foxx or something like that at that point. But no, I don't know where that came from. You threw away the wrong sheet.
I did. I had my own awards written down here. I got rid of mine. I was like, hold on, I still need mine.
That'll happen.
Russ Newsom says Arnold would have made this movie better by playing the villain Shelley Marcombe. Listen, Jimmy, she was the sweetest I'd ever tasted. You got to do what you got to do. But life is pain. Just shoots him in the hand. He could have done that.
Anywhere.
Just punches him in the hand. It's enough.
Except when the explosion goes off, it would have cut to him like Wile E. Coyote instead of dead. Just
Right.
blink, 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 blink. That would have been good.
Yep.
And have him play Shelley Marcombe.
Yep.
Free agents.
He was already there for that explosion.
Free agents ruining the game. Oh, I want more money. Stop it. That was Russ Newsom. Neil Calford says Arnold as Mike Matthews, Bruce McGill, the guy in the closet. We never really got a scene between Arnie and Bruce in their prime. So to make Arnold have to take a punch to the gut, only to have Bruce break his hand on the abs of steel, seems like a great scene to me. No, what happens is the door to the closet opens and Arnold Schwarzenegger's in there and you just go, All right, I get it. All right.
Or just the actual wardrobe breaks because he's so big.
That's right.
Yeah.
Who's the guy in the closet? What guy in the closet? I can hear him. Thump, thump.
That's as it breaks.
You're just like, okay, I understand.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
That's fine.
He was on my list, honey.
It's a hall pass. You told me. You told me it was okay if I ever met him.
Yep.
Taylor comes in and says, I'm sorry, but I can't think of where he would be needed. But why not try for Big Ray Walton just for the thing in the hot tub? You want to have him be Tony Longo's part? There's no way. No way.
Nah.
The ball, but just for fun, the ball would just bounce off his face and he'd go, what are you doing? Why are you trying to hit me with the ball?
No,
Nothing.
because she wouldn't have resisted.
There's also that side of it also. All right. I know I'm going. Craig didn't hit me with an Arnold one. All right, so we'll just cut back to that one then, I guess. Clearly, I think regardless of where we want to put him, not in that part. Any other part, he would have absolutely crushed this, even if it was the voice of the cat puppet. Anytime anyone uses the cat puppet, though, they just sound
I love it.
like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Perfect.
Be great. That's where I'm going to plant my flag. Arnold should have been the voice of Mr. Whiskers or whatever, Mr. Fluffy. Is that what it was? Whatever the name was. Anyway, we're moving on. We're moving on to the awards because I want to see who you guys had picked for the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war! I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans. What are you doing with a gun in space?
All right. Who was the most intense actor in the movie? Good or bad performance? They were all in. Mel, who you got, buddy?
Milo.
Is it Taylor Negron? Is that his name?
Yes.
Yes. Taylor Negron. Bro.
Yeah, he was that calm psychopath, which it's like a duck. On the surface, they're nice and calm, but underneath, they're swimming.
Yep.
He's going a mile a minute.
Yeah. No, for sure. And well played, I think, by him. Absolutely. Yes. Russ says, while everyone's pretty turned up intensity-wise, I'm going to have to go with Bruce Willis. Fully prepared to kill someone through his closet door, and he one-shotted Kim Coates. So the Russ's vote is for the main character, Bruce. Who you got, Nicole?
Milo.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah.
The actor, Taylor.
Yes, Taylor.
Yeah. Just a whole bunch of
craziness.
And it was continuous. I'm always big on once you make your character try to stay that character, or they can have an arc, that's fine, but same dude.
Right up to the end.
Dealing with all the situations.
Oh, it's a good pick. Neil Calford said Bruce Willis, fantastic in this, playing John McClane of his popularity after Nakatomi had taken a few wrong turns. He has some of the best insults ever. Some I use to this day. Also, he gets this award for a reference to Hudson Hawk with the reindeer goat cheese pizza comment. So Neil liked that he went back to the well for another one-liner there. But we got right now a 2-2 tie between Taylor Negron and Bruce Willis, and I am going to break the tie because I also had Taylor Negron in this part. Dude, even when he's just walking up to the car in the pool after shooting the guy, just doing his walk intensely.
Yep.
Fantastic dialed in performance from him. And then lastly, we got, Taylor says, Joe frickin' Santos as Bisolo, the police chief. Played a great police chief. Can really chew out a person. I wanted to give this to Bruce, but he played his usual cop role. But he does take a good beating and still delivers great banter. Or Noble Willingham as Marcom, great villain. But for my flag plant, it's going to Joe Santos as well. So,
all right,
we are still Taylor's up 3-2 on Bruce Willis right now as we go to Clint.
Man, you're always so cool. I just want to hear you scream one time.
Yeah,
it's got to be Milo.
Yeah, Milo's great, and apparently was going to be much worse than what ended up in the actual movie. The guy. The reason you don't see him for half the movie is because there was this whole subplot that they didn't end up doing where he makes snuff films basically, where he kidnaps men and women and puts them in movies that where they're ultimately killed in the movie by his guys or whatever.
The prequel to 8mm?
Yeah, I've never seen 8mm, but I know of it. Yeah. And at one point, Sarah was going to be captured and put into one of these movies, and Joe busts in and saves her before she's killed in the snuff film with a chainsaw. You see why this movie was originally NC-17, but
like 12 movies now.
yeah, but they took all that out. And so, yeah, this dude was a bad dude.
Mamma Jamma.
For sure. And Craig Soto says he's also going Taylor, a.k.a. Milo. He did such a great job with standing out as an evil henchman from using everyone's full first name. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
James, I presume, right? He does that to everybody. He called me Joseph. To ruthless killing, his character really stood out. So that means that with 5 votes, Taylor Negron is going to win the Will Patton Award for Intensity. Nice. And now we have to answer this question. Who was the worst actor in The Last Boy Scout? And we do that by handing out the award named after the worst actor ever, Mr. Steven Seagal, the trash can full of dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
All right. Mel, who gave the worst performance?
I went with the Hallenbeck girl.
Did you just...
I was so ready to hit that. That's okay.
Was that what you were going to do?
It's cool. It's cool, man.
Oh, no.
She queued up this joke 2 hours ago. And you
were here.
And you were here.
I didn't even know.
You were here when she did it. We were playing the song the whole time.
Oh my God.
In the intro.
I
didn't even know.
believe that just
You deserve
happened.
it.
I didn't even know. I'm just looking at this piece of crap.
Wow.
I'm here to share. Enjoy.
I had no idea.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay.
Oh my gosh. The daughter or the wife? Because there's two.
The daughter.
All right, there's 2 Hollenbeck girls. Okay, the daughter.
Child actor role.
Darian, who went on to, she's still a successful, she did
There's a lot. I just looked.
Halloween a couple times, and that's the 2 that jump off. But yeah, there's a couple other ones. She was in a whole series of horror movies. Yeah, very talented. She was in. She was one of the Manson family. Hold on, she was one of the Manson family members in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Even the grown-up version of her. So that's a good vote.
Well, we got that. Well,
yes.
We're going to rewind it then, and I'm going to redo mine.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great moment we just captured.
No, that was not.
That was a great moment we just captured. It's all good.
I
It's
love
all
it.
good.
I love it.
The
I'll hear Gwen
uncut
Stefani
people.
anytime.
The uncut
We're going to hear
people.
it again. Just a second. What's your vote?
Craig Soto says, look, Rick Dukeman, a.k.a. pool owner guy, the no-selling to haggling over his car to the phone call to the police, all of it was terrible and a complete waste. So let's vote for a character actor I like, but I agree, not great in this one from Rick Dukeman. So, Nicole?
I actually didn't know my answer to this question. I was going to use that like a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because I actually think the daughter did a really great job. I was actually very impressed with her.
Okay.
So that was my thing. I need to come back because I can't decide.
All right, no problem. We're going to keep going here. Russ says, I'm going to have to go with the useless lieutenant used to force feed us exposition and have zero imagination. So is that the chief he's talking about, you think, the lieutenant, or his second in command guy? I'm not sure, maybe, but yeah, and then either way, it still works. Look, for my trash can, I don't even remember who I put down. Joe Santos, the chief. I thought he was terrible. And after I know somebody just gave him an award for Will Patton and thought he was great, I thought he was just the most boring, I yell at you police chief guy in the movie, and didn't add. I mean, even like the lead captain in Lethal Weapon is awesome. That guy, I remember the guy that's in all of Richard Donner's movies, and he's the chief in Lethal Weapon. That's a great example of how to do that cliche part really well.
Yeah.
And this guy was just like, rah, 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 rah. I didn't like him at all. So he gets my vote. Neil Calford said, I'm going with Danielle Harris. I'm going to take a page out of Bob's book and say she's terrible. That's the daughter. I loved her in the Halloween movies and her other projects, but this one, she was so annoying. I'd rather she'd been playing her mute character from Halloween 5.
Whoa.
And so that's a second vote for Danielle Harris as we go over to Clint Bush.
I'm going to go with the senator from just being a total douche who's beating up on a girl and getting a national hero, fired from his job because he's doing the right thing, to being willing to accept bribes.
Yeah.
You're hating on the character.
And he cheated when he was with the Indians,
Well, I
too.
don't think he...
That's,
He used to use Crisco and hair gel.
Yes. You're correct.
Taylor says this movie has a pretty good cast, in my opinion, but I'll give it to Clarence Felder as McCaskey. His small part was the only weakest link in the movie, in my opinion. He delivered his lines dryly. I just want to shake your hand for what you did for the president. And so, yeah, that's a vote for him. So, Nicole, we come back to you with right now, Danielle Harris has 2 votes.
So I'm not giving it to her because I'm just going with the other guy. Remember when he'd been captured, Joe had been captured, and then the one guy was offering him a cigarette and then punched him, and the other guy was just sitting there?
Yeah, the other guy that was sitting there?
Yeah, him. His name, it was Big Ray Walton, apparently, is the character.
Yeah, and he's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But
just in that movie,
I didn't really offer.
He could have been somebody else.
That's true, but that does mean Danielle Harris, because I wasn't sure which cop the one guy was giving his vote to.
Yeah.
So I know the other guy got a vote, but I can't really parse it out without knowing for sure. So really, that 2 votes for Danielle Harris is going to bring home the Trash Can Award for her under protest by Nicole, who thinks she was really great in this movie.
I didn't do the math to see how old she was, because sometimes you play 13, but you're 27 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I just thought she just kept her point of view and did a good job.
All right, awesome. It's time to move on and say, okay, who was the actor that had a small role but really brought a lot of energy, that really said, okay, I've got a tiny part, only a few lines maybe, but I'm going to bring it, and made the movie better. It's the Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Then there are those few who are. Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
All right, Mel. Who you got?
I was really torn on this one, but I like the alley thug.
Oh, the pimp hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That's probably one of the best scenes in the movie, too.
I mean, he's supposed to be this big guy who's about to take him out, and
his little pause and how fat was she?
Played along with it.
Yeah, he played along with it.
Yep,
that's a good pick.
So
his name is Baja Jola.
Oh, thank you for looking that up.
Right there.
Awesome. Craig Soto said, I would love to see the movie about Joe being a Secret Service agent. However, since Bruce Willis is the lead actor, I'm going to give the Unsung Hero Award to Billy Blanks, a.k.a. Billy Cole. I would like to know how he got into this hole he was in and see the football world that was portrayed in the movie. The pressure and corruption the players had to deal with. No one just pulls out a gun while playing football and shoots other players just to try to score a touchdown. I mean, you think they'd let that count? I mean, you not only get a 15-yard penalty, but you definitely get ejected from the game. Yeah, I think he was looking at least a suspension.
Yeah.
If he had, shot himself there, at least the rest of the year.
10 to 12.
I don't know. In the FFL, maybe it's only a 4-game suspension. We'll see. Nicole.
My answer depends on how small or big a role is.
Just not the main leads.
So is Sheldon Marconi a main lead?
No, I think he's only in the few scenes.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Noble Willingham.
Oh, but he's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That guy didn't even start acting until he was 40 years old.
Really?
Yes. And
Love
then
that.
just did a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And probably most well known for Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
in almost every episode of that. But yeah, that dude played an NFL owner again 3 years later in Ace Ventura. He was the owner of the Miami Dolphins.
Sure.
When they were looking for Snowflake.
Typecast.
In Ace Ventura, for sure.
Nice.
The next we got Neil Calford says Halle Berry. Honorable mention to Damon Wayans, but Halle Berry was just what the movie needed. Even then, I could see her acting chops, which would lead her to playing in Swordfish. In all seriousness, I hit rewind more than a few times.
because of her acting.
Because of obviously because of her
Right,
acting.
because in Swordfish he didn't hit rewind, he hit pause.
That's right. That's right.
But she's a good actress. The end.
Showcases her talent.
She's great. Where were we? Oh,
Beautiful.
I had Noble Willingham also down for mine because again, his just even if it was based off one line, Joe, you do what you got to do, was so cold-blooded in that moment. Didn't look scared at all.
Took up his space in the scene.
Yes.
Without feeling like it wasn't his.
Right, for sure. Unsung Hero Award.
I feel like our small enough role unsung hero award is still going to be the our villain Milo. Like, he's not in it a ton.
He's not in it a ton.
Like that's the I want to watch that other movie you're talking about that didn't get in. You know,
For sure.
That's a character I'm interested in following his ridiculousness.
And you know what's funny is Taylor also gave his same award from Will Patton to Steve James. He goes, I'm also giving this to Joe Santos as well. When it came to all the other non-major roles, he fit his role best. Just a solid performance for the smaller role that he had.
Yeah.
But that means that only person that got 2 votes was Noble Willingham, which means he is going to win the Steve James Unsung Hero Award. Hey, Nicole gets a W.
Noble Texas Ranger.
That's right. It is time that we do this every once in a while. And we have actors that have appeared on more than a couple of movies to get out our climbing gear and head out up the side of BMR Mountain to decide which of these performances climbed the highest. Out of their appearances on this show, what has been their peak performance?
Which reminds me of
out of these movies.
What's the
cliffhanger on Price is Right?
That's exactly
Yes, the little dude that rolls up.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
That was awesome, dude.
Imagine us just doing that on the mountain, but in 2D,
Yes,
up the side.
Up the side. That's us. And so we had 2 people. We're going to start with Rick Dukeman. Rick Dukeman has appeared in 4 BMR movies.
Oh, Jesus.
We're not counting the Die Hard on Good Movies rule where he showed up as the electrician in the hole that was like, I can shut it off right from down here. It's just a flick of a switch. And he's like, no, we can't be done from down here, you freaking idiot. So we're not counting that one. But the other one's Last Action Hero. He was the Ripper's agent. He was like, did Jack Nicholson show up to the premiere dressed as the Joker? I don't think so. And he was also in Ghost in the Machine as the IT guy's boss. And he was the science teacher in Encino Man that drew the stuff on the chalkboard and all of that. And then he was the pool guy that sat there like he didn't have a clue what was fricking happening. So I'm just going to go out and say this was the 4th best out of his.
Right. Encino Man was the best.
Okay, so you like that one the best.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I think,
what was the second one you said again?
Last Action Hero was short, but I thought he did a great job.
That was going to be the next one.
And I think he kind of played a blah character in Ghost in the Machine.
That's Ghost in the Machine is going to be 3.
All right, so as of right now, and he's going to be in many more. This is one of those dudes that was just like in everything.
Yeah.
And unless you guys have dissenting, I don't know how many of those you've seen.
No.
I do not.
But I think his peak as of yet is the science teacher in Encino Man.
Encino Man was awesome.
For sure. And he only was in 2 scenes in that one.
Yeah.
Because he's always that
2
guy that's in
Encinos.
for like... You remember him. You were on Encino Man because I remember your messages in the bathroom. Yes. But he was good in that. And then we'll see if maybe another performance will come up and it'll get higher up the mountain.
Potentially.
And this one will fall off because we're only putting ever 4 on the mountain.
All right.
And the first one off will be Last Boy Scout. I have no doubt of
Yeah, this one was like he could have been anybody here.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt, no doubt.
The other one is Bruce Willis with his 3rd appearance on the show. And so you've got Hudson Hawk, Fifth Element, and The Last Boy Scout. Now, again, we're not ranking the movies. It's specifically his performance in the movies, right? Because I think those could be 2 different rankings.
Give me a really quick Hudson Hawk description.
So Hudson Hawk is him basically being Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Except he's a little more like
the world's shittiest cat burglar.
He is, and he's a little more trying to be charming and cool. Where this is like, I'm drunk and a loser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still with the same kind of one-liners that he does in these movies.
So Fifth Element is first.
Obviously.
Duh.
Yeah.
This is 2.
You think out
this
of those,
is going to be 2, but this is going to be like a 2.7 and a 3. Like this one isn't great. This one is way closer
Again,
to Golly, I forgot it.
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element.
No,
versus Hudson Hawk.
No, this is way closer to Hudson Hawk than it is the Fifth Element. Fifth Element is up there.
So because we don't include GMR, we did cover Die Hard. Would you put Die Hard, his performance in Die Hard, over his performance in Fifth Element?
Yes.
I would too.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that peak Bruce Willis?
I think that's the only Bruce Willis we consider everything else Bruce Willis has ever done based off of.
I think it's the gold standard.
All right. So we can easily say that is the peak of his career. But whether or not we can't be, obviously, for BMR, but whether or not there will be another performance that we cover that beats Fifth Element remains to be seen. But as of now, that's his highest height he's reached on this show.
Right. But in the Expendables, he's good.
Yeah. And we'll see as we talk through. There's going to be more Bruce Willis movies. We haven't done Striking Distance yet.
Oh.
Right.
Right?
Well, Die Hard, he gets 4 tank tops.
Yeah.
Nothing else will ever reach that.
Well, there is a couple Die Hard movies that qualify too.
Die Hard 3 is
3 and 5
up there. Yes.
3 and 5 qualify for BMR because believe it or not, Die Hard with a Vengeance has a negative critic score or a rotten critic score.
That seems reasonable.
Ridiculous. So we'll be covering that at some point. All right, but guys, it's time for our final verdicts. And so the time to perseverate has passed us and the time to lock in and plant our flags. And did this movie hold up? Maybe when we enjoyed as 13-year-olds, now as in our 40s, is it still good? Or is it bad, but we still like it? I mean, where do we fall on this? And Mel, you're going to get the floor first. How do you feel about Last Boy Scout?
Bad movie that rules.
Yeah.
I can't say it's not a good movie, objectively.
Yeah.
And with the background information and the train wreck of a production, it just, the one-liners are forced. A lot of the stuff just doesn't make a lot of sense. The plot sucks in a lot of cases, but it's got that buddy feeling. And it's got a story. It's got, a character arc. It's got stuff you like. It's fun to watch, but it's not good.
All right. I respect that, man. Taylor says, I hadn't seen this movie since it was planned on HBO in the mid-90s, but after watching this, I really like the movie. Solid buddy cop movie with good action, just a ton of great one-liners. Oh, you're really cool for somebody who's about to take a bullet. He goes, after screwing your wife, I'll take 2. That was one that we forgot. Well, friends can't be perfect. I wish water wasn't wet. I wish the sky wasn't blue. And I wish I didn't still love my wife. These are all really good ones. I like how they meta joked at the end, which you got to get a catchphrase, hit a dude with a surfboard, surfs up. And the gun and the cat puppet is so good. This is a good movie. It just makes it for me. On the cover, it seems like a BMR, but I really enjoyed it and wanted to rewatch it more often. Can't believe I haven't watched this in this long. Oh, and if you touch me again, I'll kill you, from Taylor. All right, Taylor. Message received, buddy.
Yikes.
Nicole, the floor is yours. How do you feel about The Last Boy Scout?
Okay, I give it 4 Nakatomi Plazas. And okay, so is it problematic? Yes. Was there one slur against our friends of the homosexual group? Yes. So we got to delete that, I suppose. But yes, plot being lots of places, there was still a through line that I thought was pretty solid. And there was the gun and the puppet was pretty cool. Yeah. And the scene with the figuring out he was in the closet was pretty cool. I typically am more in the bad movie that rules that I end up averaging. I've been thinking about all of them. However, because if you wring out the towel of the movie and all the crazy juice comes out, I still think, and Damon Wayans I thought was actually really good in it, despite him figuring out his character throughout, or them figuring out what to write for him more likely, actually. I would say it actually just teetered over to a good movie.
What?
I know.
Really?
I know.
I can't believe you're giving this a good movie rating.
I know. Just because I can remember lots of parts in it that I think.
Because as I'm watching this, I don't know if I said this in the episode, I might have said it beforehand. As I was watching this, I hadn't remembered it because I'd been so long. Yeah. I was like, oh no, Nicole's on this episode.
And so I'm not saying that I actually don't really want to see it again.
Yeah.
But, and I'm giving it tons of prefacing because I know that too. But I still think it has enough of a plot that's what more I'm looking at, that it didn't get ruined. And
so would this actually be a good movie that sucks for you then? Because
maybe
it's objectively good, but you don't want to watch it again?
Option?
That's an official option. Oh yeah,
yes,
it is.
That.
Okay.
I didn't know that was
You're
a choice.
welcome.
Oh yeah.
You added that?
It's more rare.
I had 12.
Ryan Farrell. It's the only when you've got two choices, objectively and subjectively, you can only have 4 combinations.
Yeah, right.
It's good and I hated it. It's good and I thought it and I liked it, or the inverse on the bad side.
Perfect.
So if you think it's good but you didn't like it, it's a good movie that sucks.
That's where I am.
Wow. All right. That's amazing. Amazing. Craig Soto goes, I remember watching this movie a long time ago. The opening scene was so outrageous that you knew this was going to be a crazy movie. And seeing that it was written by Shane Black also made it clear this was going to be a good one because all of his previous hits that he had. I miss those type of gritty 90s movies. And that's why I wanted to review this one. However, giving it a watch again, there were so many weird inconsistencies. The tone didn't seem quite right at times. You could tell this felt very much like Lethal Weapon, but when it differed comedically, it seemed out of place. I'm just glad that they always followed through with their setups like head or gut, dance a jig, the hand puppet, the briefcases. There's also quite a bit of dialogue explaining the plot and characters' motives, which is a little too on the nose, like Jimmy's self-loathing and all that. Overall, I loved the movie, but I'll have to go with it being a bad movie that rules from Craig Soto.
What you gonna do?
Look,
head or gut?
That's what I'm trying to find out where to punch this movie. I feel, here's what I'll say. I feel very differently about this movie than I did 30 years ago when I saw it, which is just a general recollection that I liked it because I remembered very little about the movie itself. I remember the Your Mama jokes just because those lived on longer than the movie did, you know, from being a kid on the playground back in the day. I think now when I watch it, I have a very different reaction because I've watched so many more movies, so many Shane Black movies. It seems like 2 films. And then once you know what happened backstage, you can see how the first 2/3 of it is a Shane Black movie. Yeah. And then by the time they get to the third act, which was almost all rewritten by Bruce Willis, it just, everything that happened gets more and more ridiculous in the third act of the movie. Because the first 2/3, there wasn't really that much to even make fun of because it's a pretty cogent, well put together storyline. Right about the time he gets thrown off the overpass onto his backside and kind of going on from there, it's like a different film. And the tonal shifts are crazy. And so I think objectively, you got 2 people that tried to jam 2 scripts together here and it doesn't work. And so I think it's objectively bad film for that reason. There's enough about it that I enjoyed from the Shane Black moments, the dynamic between Damon and Bruce, which I thought was fantastic. And Damon was really maybe one of his best performances because some of his comedic stuff doesn't always work for me. Like I didn't love Blank Man. I didn't love Major Payne. You know, he liked to do these voices and stuff that would always kind of drive me crazy.
He got a little bit of Prince in this movie. Just a little bit.
I thought he killed it in this.
Yeah.
And so I'm going bad movie that rules. I would watch it again. Although I think I like it for way different reasons now than I did then. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You said it's supposed to be on the water? What do you mean the end?
Yeah, there was going to be like a boat that they were all on.
Okay.
Like out on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah. So crazy stuff. Russ Newsom goes, look, final rating, love the tropey 90s buddy action flick. The film had some issues, but still a favorite with some great lines. How'd you like to get kicked off the planet? Final rating, 7 out of 10. I don't know what that means on our scale, but it's either a bad movie,
it's a C.
Good movie, or a bad movie that rules, or a good movie that sucks. 7 out of 10.
That's a good movie.
Bad movie that rules. I mean, he said it's got some. All right, well, good, straight up good movie.
7 out of 10 doesn't qualify for our show.
It's hard for me to translate sometimes. Clint, how do you feel about The Last Boy Scout?
All right, I'm gonna do what we all thought Nicole was gonna do. It's got its problems. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't want to.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I don't want to watch it again. It's not, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
But if we have to say it's a bad, I would like to say it's a bad movie that's meh. But like it's a bad movie. It's not. It doesn't rule. I'm not gonna seek it out to watch it again.
Yeah, if you'd never watch it again.
I just there's enough problems with it and.
This is awesome because I thought Nicole was going to say bad movie. I never want to see it again, and you don't want to see it again.
I definitely don't want to see the hot tub scene
ever again. And I thought
I don't think anybody does.
No,
I didn't know if
for nobody.
I didn't think you would. You're right. It seems like who is this for?
For nobody.
Who is this for?
And it's not for anybody you would want to write a scene for. Right. Those are the people I want to, be my fans.
Right.
Yeah.
The very small percentage of people that would be like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
the Cretans. No.
Right.
I thought I don't know if you'd say it was a good movie straight up, but I thought you'd like it.
Yeah.
And I thought
I did.
So
like
this is
it.
I just
like
love
you
this
said
show.
before. I did like it.
I know. No, I know, but I get what you're saying too. At the same time,
I think I'm building mine too on like imagining back scenes that I thought were good. Like whenever he's in the pool area and he's punching him, and that was good. And then the monologue was good with Damon Wayans in the house, and then
great dialogue. The stuff that wasn't rewritten by Bruce Willis.
Right.
Great script. Good dynamic. Lots to like about the movie. Lots to not like about the movie. But to me, the things I didn't like about, nobody likes that scene that you're talking about, obviously.
Yeah.
But mine was more about the tonal shifts and the actiony stuff, the one-liners. I love all that stuff. Like, it's great. Final rating from Neil Crawford. I love this show. Overall, straight up good movie. This was Bruce Willis's version of Lethal Weapon, and while the story is somewhat lackluster, the awesome one-liners and action scenes definitely make up for it. And watching Willis dance will never not be entertaining. Yeah, it's such a great dancer. What does he say? For a dancer, he's a pretty good detective.
Bringing up the Lethal Weapon, Milo is Mr. Joshua.
Yeah, of this movie, yeah.
There's parallels there.
For sure. Milo and Gary Busey's character.
Right.
Very similar. For sure. But I love Lethal Weapon.
Yes.
So much more than this movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
So much more. I will watch that. I've probably watched it over 20 times. At least. We'll never get to do Lethal Weapon on this show. But someday, I would like to cover all of Shane Black's movies. Did you ever see Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No.
Oh, you got to see it.
Okay.
It's really... Robert Downey Jr., this was like the first movie where he was kind of coming out of his problems, and he had developed that RDJ kind of personality thing that he would take into Iron Man and stuff. And it was like, you could see the beginnings of Tony Stark in this performance in like 2-3 years before Iron Man. And Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it's RDJ and Val Kilmer in a buddy movie together, and it's awesome.
Stupidest title I've ever heard.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, you should check it out.
Because of the title. I've never even wanted to watch it. I don't no idea what it's about.
Well, it's about a private eye. It's funny is Val Kilmer is a gay private investigator that RDJ is got to follow around because RDJ is an actor preparing to play a private investigator in a movie, and so he shadows Val Kilmer while he's doing his thing, and they both end up getting sucked into this mystery that they got to know. It's all of Shane Black's best stuff are buddy movies. They now have to solve together. Michelle Moynihan is in it and plays a great part in it. And so if you guys haven't seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang yet, go and watch that.
Get out to your local Blockbuster.
And if you guys love Last Boy Scout, love what you like, man. There's parts of this movie that I still think are fantastic. Hopefully you're not disappointed that we didn't like it as much as you do, but that's the great thing about movies is that no need to ever feel ashamed for liking the movies that you like. If you enjoy it, watch it again, man. Run it back to the beginning and press play, and don't feel ashamed to do it. Love it if you love it. Mel, thank you for being here today, man.
All right.
Nicole, were you about to say something?
I was going to say, overall, again, I'm so in the middle of A, B, C, D, E. I'm C, whatever that's allowed to be. Overall, I think Bruce Willis is great, but I'm still... Just not.
Perfect. Clint, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate you, brother. We'll get you on you're going to be coming up here for the Flintstones in a few weeks. But
I believe you.
Next week, we have, are you ready for this? Because I have to do the second one from the next doubleheader. Wait.
Hold on, you want it?
Oh, no, I got it. Batman Forever.
There you go.
Yeah, talking about Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer swooping in his bat suit, his rubbery, nippley bat suit with Chris O'Donnell. That's right. Little Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones action. We're going to be covering Batman Forever next week, and so tune in for that one. I'm pretty sure Kurt's going to be stopping by to be on the kids' table for that one. He was a little bit bummed out. He didn't get scheduled for it, but I'm like, come on, man. I can't have you in every freaking episode. We got to get some people in here. No, I'm happy that Kurt's going to be in here. Come and check it out. If you get a chance to hit us up on Facebook or on Twitter or any of our socials, follow us on there if you haven't already. Reach out to the show if you want to get in touch with us. In the meantime, on behalf of Mel Vandy and on behalf of Nicole Freer and Clint Bush, I want to say thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Wow, is it head or gut? Gut or head?
Gutterhead?
I'm gonna talk through my puppet instead. There's a gun in it.
Can you make it talk, mister?
Okay. That's it. That's the song.
Talking gun.
Y'all come back now. You hear it?